He's like, Pepper, I got him. I got the rabbit. He's like, Elvis, you ain't plugging the rabbit. You done plugged your pepper.
Hi, welcome to Tablestop. This is a podcast where four best friends talk about board games, video games, and random BS. I'm Dan.
I'm Ritter.
I'm Rainey.
And I'm Kyle.
Fuck Scrappy Doo.
Oh.
Scrappy Doo is a bitch. Scrappy Doo is the worst goddamn character.
Yeah.
I'm glad you agree with me.
What do you got wrong with Scrappy Doo?
I
take him out. Let me at him. Let me at him.
That's it.
Get him over here. What are you talking about, Scoob? Come on. What are you guys?
Is that
your attempt
is
at
that
Scrappy
Scrappy?
Doo?
Yeah, that
Morty?
was the attempt at it.
You just did Morty.
Puppy power.
Yeah, pretty much. He's New York Morty. He would be a version of Morty if it was from a place where the Mortys exclusively talk
New
like
Yorker
New York.
accent. Do you
Sure
remember
he does.
how he sounds?
What are you talking about?
No, because as a kid, when
Scrappy
Scrappy...
Doo sounds?
Yeah, that's how he sounds.
He goes,
He's got
puppy power.
Yeah, he does that.
Oh, let me
but
at him,
like
let
much
me at
higher
him.
pitched. And let me at him, because he's the antithesis of Scooby and Shaggy always wanting to run away. As soon as they decided in Scooby-Doo, it's like, you know what? Let's get rid of 3/5 of the cast and keep those guys. These guys are what people are really after. And we need a tiny buddy sidekick to make them do things.
Yeah, those episodes were always the worst as a kid.
That Scooby and Shaggy movie where they went to that all-girl monster school was like my favorite Scooby-Doo thing ever, though. So.
Whoosh.
What are you talking
yeah,
about?
they went to I don't know if it was an alternate universe or just like a place they were at. Shaggy was in a red t-shirt instead of a green one. But they
Crossing
went
the
to
line.
this they went to this all-girls monster boarding school, and they were helping out there, I think, and there were a bunch of fun, quirky little monster girls, like a little mummy girl and a little Frankenstein girl, and they were fighting in this volleyball tournament against the all boys. I think it was a summer camp now that I'm thinking about it. And it was super enjoyable. Yo, hit me up if you guys remember this, because it was my favorite. And I think one of them was named Gulina and stuff. And it was really fun and cute. And they had a day where the parents came in and everything. And it was all the big villains like Dracula and Frankenstein and stuff were there, and they were just loving, doting parents that were there's my little girl. And it was really cute, super fun characters, incredibly enjoyable. Shaggy and Scooby were really scared at first because they were monsters, but then they were
right.
We love these
Are
kids.
they just a form of prejudice in that universe where monsters exist?
Yeah, they were. That
'cause-
was the whole thing in the movie, is that they were really prejudiced against them to begin with. And then they were we were rude to you. We're sorry. You guys are cool monsters, and we like you a lot.
Could you imagine the propaganda, a good monster's a dead monster. I'm Alex Jones. These goddamn Draculas are trying to take over the world. The globalist Draculas working with the globalist Illuminatis.
If a Dracula
Is
bites
that
you,
not
turn
what he
gay.
says? Does he not have vampire theories?
Oh my god, I think he might have a couple vampire theories.
I mean, I thought that was already an established thing. I didn't think that was too, out of the realm of possibility.
Maybe.
I do want to loop back to the Scrappy Doo hate, in that, the live action movie, Scooby-Doo, where they go to Monster Island, and they go to that theme park, and it turns out the big villain at the end is Scrappy Doo.
Yep.
Vaguely?
Oh, yeah. Well, he, powers this man robot, and he pretends to be, the leader of this amusement park where he has invited all the gang, and they're stealing the souls of everyone there and compiling them into this basin and replacing them with these monsters that can't be out in the daylight, so they inhabit the bodies of these people and are the minions of this man. And at the end, it turns out the man is Scrappy Doo in a perfect man suit. And he gets out and he absorbs all the souls and becomes this giant monster that tries to brutally murder Scooby-Doo and the others. And it's up to Scooby-Doo to get his soul back and also to free the souls of the other people trapped. And so he does, and then Scrappy-Doo goes to prison. And
Dog prison or people's prison?
I'm pretty sure it's a people's prison.
Oh, Scrappy ain't gonna do good in there.
This movie was made because the guy who made it hated Scrappy Doo so much that he dedicated himself to making a movie where Scrappy Doo was the biggest villain and terrible person. And since then, Scrappy Doo has not been in a single Scooby-Doo related thing. Except in the newer series where they go to a Scooby-Doo themed museum and there's a statue of Scrappy Doo and Daphne gets really scared and Fred goes, "Don't look at it. We don't talk about that anymore," and walks away. Like, he single-handedly and with full intentions destroyed Scrappy Doo from canon. Absolutely eviscerated him.
Because he's on the right side of history.
Yeah. There was even a flashback in the movie he made where Scrappy Doo pissed all over Daphne's lap and they ditched him on the side of the road. Like, he hated Scrappy Doo so much, his only goal was to destroy him forever, and he succeeded. And for that, he deserves a Purple Heart.
Give that man a Purple Heart.
That's not what those are awarded
nope,
for.
He deserves
Nope,
that's not what you award.
Order him two now.
Give him a Nobel Peace
that's
Prize
not what you get
and a Purple Heart.
No, you
So
get the Purple Heart for getting hurt.
He got hurt. I'm sure he probably got a paper cut at some point making that movie, and you know what? He got that as a sacrifice.
Okay. All right.
So, what brought up Scrappy Doo?
I just really hate Scrappy Doo.
Oh,
Thinking about it. He is an asshole.
I was just thinking about it.
It's a good
So,
movie. I would recommend watching it.
I'm looking at the live action Scrappy Doo thing.
Yeah?
Did you guys ever play Arkham Asylum?
Yep.
Joker at the Joker at the end of Arkham when he's all Bane juiced up. That's exactly what Scrappy Doo looks
Yeah,
like.
he becomes
Scrappy Doo with Bane juice.
giant, incredibly buff, and he gets like a deep voice, and he's like, "Scooby!"
So he's just the Joker.
Scrappy Doo on Venom.
And the body he was inhabiting was the guy who plays like Mr. Beans.
Mr. Beans?
Mr. Bean.
Oh!
Sorry, Mr.
I don't know why the
Bean?
plural threw me off. Beans?
Mr. Bean, you know him?
Yeah, I know Mr. Bean.
Yeah, he's the robot man.
He sells the beans.
Yeah, it's just Scrappy Doo inside of Mr. Bean being like, "Well, hello there, kids."
Okay.
I got lima beans.
I want to see
bacon beans.
this Venn diagram.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted to see this movie, and I was like, "Bro, we can watch this tonight."
Load it up.
No,
We can watch
are
it
not
tonight.
watching a movie.
Another movie for the Ritter Movie Club.
Tonight.
Negative. Ain't happening. Okay. So, Mr. Bean, Pee Wee Herman. Same person, right?
No.
No.
Nope.
One
Okay,
of them
maybe
that
not the
got-
same exact human being, but they're the same character, right? That's the same thing.
No.
They do the same.
I think Mr. Bean is more
No.
bumbling and Pee Wee's just more juvenile.
Chaotic.
Pee Wee's
right?
chaotic neutral, and Mr. Bean's like
Slapstick, kind of, in my opinion.
Slapstick's not a D&D alignment though.
lawful slapstick.
Lawful slapstick.
Listen, you want to talk about weird alignments? Okay, they got alignments in the Fate series. They do stuff like that. Like this one is like a chaotic housewife or something like that. Like I'm not lying. I'm pretty sure that's what the Berserker Tamamo is like chaotic housewife.
How do you? I guess
One
chaotic,
of the alignments is like just sword. Like
Nice.
that's
You got
it.
lawful sword or
Lawful sword, evil sword. Yeah,
neutral sword.
they do that.
Aren't Monosaurs-
madness is one. So you can have chaotic madness or lawful madness. I don't know. I can't answer the questions.
I want to be a
can just tell
chaotic
you.
lawful.
Right. Well, that's neutral.
Nope.
You just follow all of the laws chaotically though.
Yeah, I
Chaotic.
follow the laws,
Chaotic.
but like
Chaotic.
they're my laws. You don't
That's
know what
lawful
laws.
evil.
You don't know what laws I'm following.
That's
because
lawful
I've
evil.
made them up, but I am
But
following them.
does an
As long
electric
as
body
you
have
follow
to?
your own laws, it's lawful evil.
No, I want it to be like just chaos stuff. Like
like
I only boil pasta on Saturdays, and I follow that law to a T. And
No,
you're
that's
like,
madness.
why? And it's like, well, it's my law. I'm chaotic lawful. I have to follow the law.
I got a good twist on this. It has to be a law an elective body of people have made somewhere at some point in time. It's like, you're never allowed to spit out your gum on the street because in Singapore that's like a $2,000 million fine.
There's like a state where blowjobs are still pretty illegal.
That's a bad state. Hey guys from that state,
I mean,
there's
nobody follows that law, of course, but
the blowjob police.
I mean, maybe the blowjob police. You think maybe that's like every police officer's wife uses that as an excuse? Honey, I can't
They would
break
have
the
to arrest
law.
them. That's entrapment, though.
Honey, I can't break the law. No, I don't care if it's your birthday. It's the law, honey. And then she just goes to bed.
Poor Judge Dredd. I am the law.
No, he doesn't have a dick. That's a
Judge Dredd
trade-off.
has a dick.
It's a trade-off of being the law is that you just don't get a dick.
RoboCop doesn't have a dick, but Judge Dredd has a dick.
He had to give it up when he became the law.
Judge Dredd's a eunuch.
It popped
You heard
off
it here.
when he became the law. If he ever quits being the law, he can reattach it. But
Does it just like go back on?
does. It does. It's like one of those little suction cup things that you lick and stick to a window.
My God.
R/bad male anatomy over here.
I wish you could see Ritter's face. He looks so upset. He looks like he just sucked on a lemon.
Oh.
No, not.
That's illegal in most states.
Anyway,
Lemon.
what was the alignment thing? Because I lost it when I brought up my own thing that I thought was weird
I
alignments.
lost it too, but I was just thinking about
What?
chaotic housewives.
Yeah,
Are they just cleaning everything?
No, that broke everything.
Are they like vacuuming the ceiling?
No, it's.
Are they just like getting all the kids' lunch ready, but it's
Or
like
maybe
June?
she doesn't do like any of the chores. Like the dishes have been piling up for 3 weeks, and
That'd
she's
be
like,
an evil
"How do you want them?"
housewife? Would that be
Well, that
evil?
would be-
Or does she like poison the food?
Now, evil is self-serving. I think good is serving others.
What if she just puts like rainbow sprinkles in the spaghetti or something?
Oh man, that's chaotic.
I made you just dinner, and it's
It's
clown
imagine
spaghetti.
It's you're trying to accomplish being the best possible housewife stereotype, but doing it in a chaotic manner, like going way overboard.
Clown
Everything
spaghetti.
is.
So like lifting up the couch to sweep underneath of it and then unscrewing one of the legs to where it's like off balance if you sit on one side.
And that's her side,
It tips
right?
over a little
What's
bit.
the point?
No, that would be like if the couch was lopsided, you take all the legs off of it, and now it's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's too-
your
too low to the ground.
chaos solution.
Is it like whenever the leg broke off of our couch and we replaced it with a cinder block?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a bit of ingenuity there, but
Your
works.
TV setup is on the ceiling. You have to lay down on a bed that's in the middle of the living room in order to watch it.
yeah, that could be done. That
Fred
might
make it?
that might qualify. I'm not
Yeah.
crazy positive, but
She has dinner ready for you when you get home, but it's served in a PVC pipe. You have to drink it.
No, it's. I don't know. Like I said, I can't answer these questions. I only know from reading. It's from all that. It's from the mobile game.
What if all your food came in a pipe form and you just had to slurp it out, no matter what it was?
I wouldn't
It's
mind
pretty much
drinking the
just
food.
an IV,
It'd be
right?
great if no. Like I'm talking like a pipe, probably.
I mean,
like
IV is technically a pipe.
few inches in diameter, and you just like put your mouth around it and like.
I don't think you can actually do that as a human.
I think you could.
I don't think you have the possibility to do so. Or
Why?
the capability to do so. I think
Why?
it's too much force of lung for such a large thing.
Nah, that's just silly. What if it's meatballs?
No, then you also run the risk of inhaling the thing that you're trying to swallow, which would just probably kill you eventually.
Part of the risk. Today I swallowed half a chicken nugget without chewing, and it scraped down my throat. And,
Well, yeah, it'll do that.
Hurt.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Hurt. I'm pretty sure there's just a big chicken nugget formed scrape down my throat now.
Why you do that?
I got too zealous about McDonald's.
You gotta chew your food.
I was going to say, where did you get even nuggets? Because you're not at the Wendy's anymore, but right. You could have just gotten nuggets
I'm not
Those
recreationally.
nasty, those nasty regulations.
I haven't,
Man, I can't speak.
I haven't eaten at Wendy's since I stopped working there, and it's beautiful.
That's fair.
It's beautiful. In fact, I tried to give them a pizza the other day for free, and they said no. Can I say, we went through the drive-thru. It was very awkward. Kyle and I went through the drive-thru. I'd just gotten off work at Pizza Hut. There's some lore about me. And they, were going to throw away this large pizza because it already had sauce and cheese on it. At the end of the night, anything with sauce and cheese on it has to just go in the trash. I've seen them throw 10 pizzas away a night sometimes, and I always feel guilty. So I took this one even though I didn't want it. And I went through the Wendy's drive-thru, and I was like, "Hey, yo, boy, it's me, Rainey. I got free pizza. You want free pizza?" And one of the girls working was one of the girls I hadn't interacted with much because she was night crew, and I was morning crew. And she's like, "1 moment, please." In a polite voice, and I was like, "Okay." And we waited for 3 minutes, and then she came back and went, "No, thank you." And I was like, "What?
Yeah,
What?
it's
It's a free pizza. There's five
I
of
wouldn't
you in
accept
there.
free
Nobody
pizzas.
wants a free. I worked there though. They knew me. Luckily, one of the employees
s-
was in the parking lot, and I was like, "Hey, yo, bitch, you want this pizza?" And she was like, "Fuck yeah, I want this pizza." It was stuffed crust. I was giving him a free large stuffed crust pizza.
So-
that shit's like $17.
I've been working at my current job for about 2.5, 3 years. And if one of my cube mates was like, yo, I brought this pizza from home. I had too many pizzas. This is my home pizza. You want it? I'd be like,
Not home,
no.
it's a Pizza Hut pizza.
Or like, he was just like, yeah, I just got this Pizza Hut pizza last night at here. If he brought pizza outside that we didn't order for lunch,
Okay, what if he
or
is like,
was ordered for us for lunch, I would be like, no.
what if he's like, this is my second job. I worked
No.
at Pizza Hut before this. I just came from Pizza Hut and I brought this pizza with me. You want it? This is the difference. I don't know how close you are with your coworker. My coworkers at Wendy's, like, we've talked intensively about, I know, like, most about their sex lives. Like, we
Yeah.
were close enough to talk about that. So, I drank after all of them. They drank after me. Like, we would just pass around, hey, you want to try my new energy drink? They'd pass it around like 5 people. I'd take it back. I'd drink. Like, I don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. I know. I can see you guys. I don't give a shit about that
No.
stuff. The other day, I've been at this job for, less than a month now. I got a new energy drink. I turned to a guy that I don't know very well and went, you want to try this? And he went, yeah, thanks. Took a drink. I took it back and continued drinking.
You
out of
don't
it.
drink after people you don't know. You don't know what.
Don't care. It's fine. I've always been like this.
If
I'm
you get
fine
things,
so
then
far.
I will get things.
Right, Kyle.
And if Kai gets things, I'll get things. What?
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 Wait, what?
What?
Nah, I don't know. It's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. It's fine. I mean,
It's
how
not
much harm
great.
can come from drinking
lot.
a drink after somebody? What are the odds?
Why do you think I don't ever?
I know
do?
you don't.
Because there's risks involved.
There's a certain
that you
level-
can just not have to deal with being, now I am plague ridden. Or you could have just not.
Nah, by
Like,
sixth
it's an
grade,
easy
we were, like,
choice.
sharing lipstick and chapstick at school. Like,
You
multiple
don't do
girls.
that either.
There's
I already did
there's
it.
a level of social link you have to unlock, like at least social link 8 before you can drink after somebody.
Nah, as long as if I've known them for a week and had a good conversation with them once, I'd trust.
You can find out stuff about people like years later that you had no idea, and you're like, oh, that's crazy, not cool. Well,
A lot of
I-
people I drank after at my old job did drugs, but that's fine.
Dan has just gone full
Yeah.
on praise
He's
the
about
sun,
to pass out.
hands
Kyle's
in the
about
air.
to jump me.
I'm gonna T-post so hard. I'm so.
No, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal to just drink after people.
All right,
It's a
it
pretty
can be.
deal.
I'm
not
putting a
doing-
nail in this
And
conversation.
you wonder why you got sick so often.
We're done.
it's
We're done here.
fine.
We're moving on.
Oh,
Dan,
Going up.
what have you
Ritter's
done with your life
upset.
lately?
What have I done?
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Yes. Other than work, not a whole lot.
What did you buy?
That's top secret.
What do you mean it's top secret?
I
Dan doesn't want the government to know.
I got a promotion at work, and I had a treat myself moment. I'm now.
Is this even registering as
I'm
audio?
doing it closer
Now
to the
on the-
microphone
is
than
even
mine
A
will.
little bit.
Is it? Is,
So if you look at the
is full
totem
Donkey
pole
Kong
of
clapping?
the totem pole of the corporate
Visual
structure where I
jokes.
work at, if it's like Mortal Kombat, I'm not the first guy you fight, but I'm the guy above that. So I'm like the Baraka, or I don't know. I haven't seen a Mortal Kombat fight pole in a while.
Yeah, I don't
team
know what
promotion.
order it goes in either.
Yeah.
I
Never played
forget,
enough.
but I'm the second tier.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna do maybe like 20% of your hit.
you're
hit
gonna
bar.
block.
I learned how to block essentially.
You're not gonna just walk and not block. You're gonna
I just
actually
walk
block.
forward, punch, walk backwards, walk forwards.
Right. You have some modicum of skill now.
Nice.
Nice. So I purchased a bunch of computer parts, and I'm going to put those computer parts together and shake them around a bit.
I'm a computer.
And I'm a computer.
Thus begins the cycle known as Dan's PC blog. You heard it here first. This is episode 1 of Dan's PC blog. We will update this continuously as it goes on
So
with new information.
Simultaneously, I'll be starting my Rainey's PCP blog, and that's going to be far more chaotic.
What?
Is it just you drinking after people who've taken PCP?
Maybe.
Oh, the drug PCP.
Wait, you guys thinking about the pipe or something? It's a
That's
drug,
PVC,
too.
first of all.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are just looking at me like, what?
I didn't know what you were talking
Oh,
about.
man. You way to concrete shoes my joke, Ritter.
Way to concrete shoes, my joke.
Yeah.
The hardest sandbags.
Yeah, that's what those are. No, not
Oh,
sandbags.
okay. Nope.
Concrete
You
shoes.
concrete shoes.
Swim with
my
the fishes.
joke.
Right.
Way to swim with the fish is my joke.
I suppose people out there are probably curious about parts and components.
No.
And if so, okay. All right. I mean,
Wow.
like, I'm not sure how to.
Heavy concrete shoes once more.
I can't get it.
What?
Yeah, no. I thought I had a list on my phone.
All right. Well, what?
I was gonna
He's going to go through the full specs.
Not the full.
This AMD processor has 3.6 gigahertz naturally and can be overclocked to 4.2, which you don't want to do. Just don't overclock it. You don't need that.
I don't
know
need
what
that.
any
It
of
ruins
those
the
words
longevity
mean.
of the piece.
If you
It's
keep it
got
properly
fans.
cooled, though.
It's got a glass side. It's got cool computer
that's-
circuitry inside.
Can I play
That's
my
all my case.
monster dating game on it?
You probably could.
You
Okay.
probably run 2 instances at full specs.
Only 2.
Probably more than 2 if it's like a text.
I could run 2 on my laptop
On both
right now.
monitors?
Oh, and
Both
get more monitors.
simultaneously playing? 2 instances?
Get all
maybe.
the monitors.
2
Could
windows.
do. I don't know. That was my guess. I could say you could healthily do that without hurting it.
Ah,
Maybe you could do more. I don't know.
If it stays cool, you can do whatever you want.
you can date
This is
Scott and Polly at the same time.
Exactly.
I still haven't got
Those
anyone to
things.
play that game.
What is
with
it
me.
with you and monsters lately? Have you
I
been
just
on
like
like a
'em.
phase or a kick or something like that?
I'm rubbing
I
off
just
on her.
like them.
Oh, that, you know what? I hadn't.
Kyle likes monsters that will beat him up. I like monsters that I can fuck.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Best of both worlds. There is a super buff character they added to the monster prom that I'm like, I will die for this bitch. But I don't know. I've always been into monsters. I want someone to play the PvP with me. That way I can fucking wreck them and steal
There's
the monster
PvP
date.
in a dating game?
Yeah, there is. It's multiplayer up to 4 players.
How is it multiplayer?
You can connect if you also have the game. You can also play on the same computer, but it's a little confusing because it's like split keyboard. But you exist in the same school, and you can either date separate people and just like exist, or you can go after the same monster and fight for their love and attention.
What if you just don't like, what if you're like, you know what, I'm okay being single because I'm in high school.
You can do that too. You can go to
Good.
prom on your own.
That-
You can just exist, I guess.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, you're perfectly
Gotta
within
keep
your
them
rights to go to
children
prom on your
separated.
own. But
I don't know.
I want to
Yeah, good
fight,
one.
and
Yep.
then Hannah won't buy the game though to fight me. So, if anyone out there owns Monster Prom and email tablestopcast@gmail.com, I'll play with you.
Tablestopcast@gmail.com.
Please,
How are you going to play?
please
Via
don't take
mail?
my phone.
You're gonna, like, they have- Right, I was-
It's
like,
online computer game. What
Oh,
do you mean?
You told me it was local.
No, it can be. I mean, you can use the same keyboard, but it's a little
I'm
confusing.
waiting to take my turn to date this monster.
But you can,
Right.
Open up Gmail. Oh no, they haven't taken their turn yet.
Exactly.
I
It's
gotta
like
get on
waiting
AIM
for
and-
chess.
No,
Like-
you can also play like online. But
Okay. That makes a little more sense.
Hit me up. Please just let me have Vera. Just let me have her. Don't fight me for her. Please. There's so many others. Please just let me have her. That's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, it's a new computer. Real quick of what I can remember. I got a Radeon. Is it Radeon? What is it called?
Your processor?
Yeah. I don't know
what
It's
you got.
AMD.
It's AMD. I think it's the 2600B. It's like a 6-core.
You have an AMD Ryzen 5 2600X,
Yeah,
3.6
Ryzen.
gigahertz, 6-core processor.
And then my graphics card is a NVIDIA GTX 2060.
Yep, 6 gig on, yeah.
I'm glad you
Goes
have the
in with-
list up because I couldn't bring it up on my phone.
Yeah, slots in PCI Express. You got 2 PCI Express
Yeah.
slots. You can do RAID configuration if you really wanted to.
I don't know if I want to, but I
You
had
don't
to make
need
that decision.
That's a bit excessive.
That's like not welfare. That's the opposite of what I was going to say. Trust fund kid PC tech there.
Yeah.
You go on, you ever been on like r/PC builders or PC gaming? It's just trust fund kids. You're like, yeah, this is my $7,000 rig. I put it in oil.
Right, the whole thing is suspended in oil.
Yeah.
I've seen them do that.
And it's like, you don't need that, though.
No, but you can.
But yeah, it actually wasn't too pricey either. I think I did a good job picking some cheap parts and some room for growth there if I want to throw in a new processor down the line or some more RAM or what have yous.
Right.
So this is going to mean I'm going to be playing a lot more PC games, so my haps will probably be focused on like, yo, I've actually got a chance to play Doom. It was real fun, or, games that would, catch
Stuff
my...
that you could have played on a Windows XP machine.
You wanna play Monster?
No, the new Doom.
Oh, new Doom.
New Doom.
Right. I was thinking instantly I went back.
You want to play Monster Prom with
I don't think my computer can handle that.
Monster Hunter.
I could.
Is that on the PCs?
Ooh,
It's on the PCs.
it is on the
It's got many
PCs.
mods.
You don't even have it on the PC.
I didn't know.
Then you would
Kyle.
have to get it on the PC.
You need to follow me. I can be your Sherpa of this mountain.
Sure.
Just let me first make sure the path is safe, and also make sure all the components I got work, and I don't run into any problems like it. Because I built a PC like 6-7 years ago, and it was kind of a terrible experience, but I also was trying to get by with a not completely legitimate copy of Windows.
Yeah.
And my motherboard and my case had shorts in them. I think I had to go through a different power supply too. I had a lot of problems.
Well, the problem is I can't afford this plane ticket to the mountain of which you are Sherpa-ing.
Yeah, that would be an issue.
You know what? Let future you deal with it. That's what I did.
Yeah?
This is a problem for future me.
Future me got it. I'm
Okay,
sure.
and now for the counter argument to this that will get me hate by all of the one person who could possibly hate this. Get a pre-built.
You know
Go
what?
find a pre-built and just buy it.
Okay.
It's going
That's
to
not
cost
a bad.
you probably $500-ish more dollars, depending. Unless you get like a Black Friday sale, then you're only probably getting more like $200
That's like
extra.
$500 I don't have to spend.
This is true,
So,
I don't have that
but
money.
it will
fuck it up.
work.
yes.
And it will just work. And it will be beautiful, and you just sit it on your desk, and it just works.
So Ritter's absolutely correct, and that is what I was going to initially do. But
Well,
if one thing's wrong with it, you got to send it all back.
Which
You're
is
not
Two,
gonna
you don't
make it,
have the joy of building it. I kind of like, I was going to go pre-built. I was like, screw it, I'm never going to build another computer again. But I started to remember, like, yeah, it's kind of fun picking out your parts, and it's so stupid easy to build a PC now.
Yeah.
PC part picker, it has, you cannot buy, well, you can if you're real dumb and don't read, but it will have compatibility for all your parts. You just buy the parts, make sure you're grounded by either touching a piece of metal or putting on like a rubber mat. Put the things where it says, you have a little schematic, plug the things in, bam, boom.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I've watched people put them together, like on YouTube and in real life before, and I've messed with known hardware in my laptops before. I can do it.
yeah.
And
But
if
Ritter's also
something-
right, though.
If something's DOA, there's warranties and stuff to send it back.
Yeah,
to do it,
usually
right?
about a month.
Exactly.
And then you
I'm
buy...
on Ritter's side. I would just buy a pre-built one. That's
You
too
just
much
buy
work.
one off of Best Buy, wait till Black Friday. Like, it's a wonderful thing. You go, that's exactly what I did, I think almost 2 years ago now. Thing I had, 2 years. The PC I have is a beast. I will not need to replace this thing for probably another 3 or 4 years. Unless something catastrophically bad happens to it.
Well, 3 things against that. 1, I'd like to save as much money as I can. 2, I actually already have some of the parts for one. I have a RAM and a hard drive already. And 3, I don't remember what my third point was.
So, the other reason why I didn't go with a pre-built is sometimes, depending on where you get it, you can get a PC where they used like a cheaper motherboard or a cheaper version of the graphics card. You can run into situations where they just get like garbage components and throw it together.
Oh, I know that because the laptop I have right now, my folks got it for me as a present, like maybe about a decade ago at this point. But when I first got it, it fried 3 motherboards, and I sent it back. And every time I had to wait for 2 weeks for them to replace the motherboard on it and give it back, and it fried the motherboard 3 times. And like once it came back the third time, I was like, all right, if it fries again, I don't want it back. I just want money back for it. And then they finally got me a better one.
That was probably the time that they actually replaced the motherboard. They probably just like looked in it, said, whatever, fine, give them new power supply, send it out, and it didn't work again.
Yeah,
Because you'll have people do that. That's a real thing.
I see.
I had somebody work on a laptop of mine forever ago when I was in college. And he brought a new motherboard with him because he thought he was going to have to change it out because it was like freaking out. It blue screen, so it was like something bad was happening to it. And he just switched out the power supply and it worked. He was like, "Oh, okay, you're good. See ya," and left the motherboard.
Oh.
So I was like, all right, see you later, man, bye. And a couple weeks later, it did the same thing, and I didn't touch it for a while, and that is where I first learned how to take a laptop apart. I replaced the motherboard myself, and it works to this day.
I first learned how to take one apart whenever I found out that overcharging a battery is a thing. I had to drain the battery on my laptop. I called the customer support, and they're like, "Oh yeah, common thing. You gotta take the back off. You gotta hold like the emergency power button on the thing. You gotta hold it and drain the battery, and then replug it back in."
That's not really a problem nowadays, though. That's more
Yeah,
of an
I think
older
they fixed
computer
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Now,
No, that was way back.
Yeah, now you can leave it plugged in for days, weeks. I mean, I never unplug mine. The only time it gets unplugged is when you unplug it, actually, to like move it, or because you still kind of have that overcharge thing ingrained in you. But
Yeah,
I
still not
I leave it
all that great for
unplugged
him,
in.
but it's less to a lesser degree than what it was.
It's fine. I've always done it. I've never had any problems.
Fair enough.
Yeah, mine that I bought a couple of years. I have a laptop as well. It's pretty much always on power, and it hasn't had any issues. I don't think that batteries can be overcharged anymore. I'm pretty sure they have a smart thing in the power supply that says, "Up, not taking any more amperage, just back it off,
Oh, okay. Neat.
run it straight, whatever." Maybe it's in the
Yeah,
computer
they
itself.
fix that. They fix that stuff with the newer models. That was more of an older
Yeah, if
thing.
it was 10 years ago, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Technology and
But-
PCs have come so far in 10 years. It's absurd.
My
Like
PC
even in the
is very
6
new.
years between that build and my new build, like
Yeah. It's going to be a whole new world.
Yeah. I would like to build one too, because not only to play with you guys, but with my buddy that just came back into town recently. He's going to be like,
what's his code name?
his code
Homeless
name?
Jesus?
Homeless Jesus. That's a good one.
Homeless
Homeless
Jeebus.
Jesus. All right, Homeless Jesus.
Yeah, he was
Came
a
back
cool
into town
dude.
recently. Yeah. He's a big PC gamer, and now that he's not roaming the countryside, climbing and hiking,
Homeless Jesus is going home, so that I guess his name doesn't make that much sense anymore. But oh well,
but it does right now.
homebound Jesus.
Homebound Jesus. I like that one even better.
Done.
But yeah.
The other couple things I did, we'll probably discuss. We'll discuss properly in what we played together. But Richard Nixon was in. Ritter and I played Raccoon Tycoon, which I then instantly bought. We'll talk more about that later.
I was impressed with the speed with which you bought the game.
I liked it that much.
I am surprised because I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was not an instant buy for me because I felt like it was a gameable game, if that makes sense. But maybe that's just part of it. Maybe that's just one thing we ran into.
Because we played it with Homeless Jesus, Gunman. And,
Oh, you played it again?
and I
Okay.
showed them it. So that's why I'm going to save it
Missed
for
it on
what
Food
we
Truck
played
Fest
together.
Day.
Yes, I did. I had prior obligations.
We also played another game, which it's really good, but I didn't want to get it because our group's not big enough, I don't think, called Captain Sonar. Not Sonar, Captain Sonar.
It's a difference.
It's a difference. You want to get into that, or do you want to save that for
What are we saving it for?
when we get to the what we played section? But that's going to be filled with things. So let's just get into it now.
Just do it now. Run it live. I'm doing it.
All right, 2 teams of 4 are on opposing subs. There's a captain's position, first mate, engineer, and radio operator. And it's a collaborative game where you're trying to find and sink the enemy sub. And the components are like, there's 4 mats that are dry erase and on each side. And in the middle, there's like a board, a screen, so you can't see the other people's. So the captain calls out like a direction that they're going, northeast, southwest. Your radio operator marks on the map and tries to like figure out where on this map that enemy sub is. And there's just a couple mini games. It reminds me a lot of Puzzle Pirates.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
basically-
Puzzle Pirates is something that I could liken it to very easily. And yeah, there's 2 variants of this now as well. There is a real-time variant, and there is a turn-based variant. So I'm very interested to see a full-on... I think you could pull it off with 3 and 3, all right.
Yeah.
But 4 and 4 would probably be the ideal. It would be chaotic, because then you would actually have to be listening very closely to what is being said.
At least you got to be listening to that enemy captain, making sure you're getting those markings.
Well, you got to listen to your own captain too, because the way it operates is, so you've got your engineer, and they are, every time the captain decides to move in a direction, they have to check off a box, and it's this kind of like grid-looking thing. And depending on what they check off or what they move through, it will determine if you can't use a system. And that affects the first mate most pressingly. They also the ones who keep track of damage. You got 4 life points, take them all, you're dead. So the first mate is checking the systems. He's got like an offense, not really defense, more of like a location finding system, and then a defensive system, I would call them.
Yeah, there's like a torpedo, a mine, there's a drone, some sonar, so you can get at least a little bit of an idea where the enemy is.
Right. I feel like the drone and sonar were less useful if you had a good radio operator.
Yeah. What?
Dronar.
What?
What? Wait.
What?
Fantastic commentary from Rainy.
I will not explain my art.
I will not apologize for art.
Anyway, yeah, you've only got the 2 offensive systems of mines and torpedoes.
2 finding and 2 defensive.
Yeah, well, you got the silent running,
Which is good.
which is pretty much your only defensive option. If stuff is bad, you have to have silent running up, or you're probably just going to get pegged to death.
And it costs like 5 turns to...
Man, what a
charge
dream, though, to get pegged to death. Am I right?
What?
Am I right, boys?
Am I going to have to write you out of this segment?
I thought you were saying I get to write you up and call your parents. You're going to the podcasting principal's office.
Yeah, who's the podcast principal?
The podcast principal podcast. That's
Frank.
what you call me.
Frank is.
Oh, you have to go to Frank's office.
Frank's the milk
Frank's
plug.
office.
Frank's naked right now. I was looking at her earlier. She looks
Stop.
wild.
Quit.
She's nude.
Stop.
She doesn't have her little collar on.
Her little collar was old and
She looks so
she's so much
wild.
happier without it.
She looks so feral.
Will?
Our cats don't have
But yeah, that's
I know.
basically Captain Sonar. It's a good cooperative, competitive.
I've heard good things about it.
I had been debating on picking up a copy. It's like $40.
That's not
But-
bad at all.
It'd definitely be like we have to get gunmen and the crew involved.
Yeah, see, I would have picked that up way before I got Tycoon. Just in my opinion of it, I thought that was much more of an enjoyable game, because there is nothing like running around as the captain and understanding is like, oh, I got him. I found him. There they are. Shoot the guns.
Guns! Fire! Fire! I do want to do the non-turn based one. That's
Right.
going to be crazy.
Because there's a lot more places to move on the map.
Ooh.
But every time you move, you're giving them information on your position, but you're also charging your systems. So you can't just not move. Very interestingly, very well designed that you have to move, but moving is bad. But moving has to be to kill the other person, so you can't just turtle. It's great. It's a good design.
Good game. It's Captain Sonar, not Sonar.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you mentioned.
And last thing... No, there's a game called Sonar and a
I
game
say
called
Sonar?
Captain Sonar.
The full name is Sonar, not Sonar, Captain Sonar.
Yeah.
No, it's Captain Sonar.
It's Captain
No,
Sonar.
you just said the opposite. That's
Sonar Captain. Damn it. Captain Sonar.
The big block title is Sonar, but it also has a little italicized text below it. Not just Sonar, Captain Sonar.
right.
Yeah. And then Ritter and I, at that game day at the Richard Nixon's, played Leaving Earth.
Right.
I want to play that one so
which
bad.
he has played extensively by himself now.
He's been writing us doctorate level papers about
Yes.
orbit physics. It's been great.
It is good. He keeps having people die in space somehow.
John
though.
Glenn dies all the time in space with him, apparently.
I don't know why. He just keeps getting people dead up in space. Like, he's like, I got 62 points. I lost 2 dudes, so that's minus 20 points. And I think the ending score we were going through was like 40-ish.
Yeah.
If we could find, like, life on some planet.
Life was on Venus. It was just getting there and extracting it.
Man, I was going, like, I had officially run out of mental stability at a point.
Yeah.
it.
I couldn't wrap my head around the ion drives. I was like, how do they work, though?
Well, we were doing them wrong,
Yeah.
is why it didn't make any sense.
Because I just had like, I had like 50 ion drives just circling on Earth going, how do they work, though? Let me launch another one. Maybe that'll make it work.
Right, he just kept losing them, and then he's like, well, I researched docking so I can go pick these things up.
But then I don't have enough thrust to, like, get them out of Earth's orbit. So it's just a graveyard of Russian, like, ion drives.
Forming your own meteor up in space, your own personal moon.
It is the Iron Curtain. None shall leave, none shall enter.
We shall blot out the sun at regular intervals, depending on eclipses.
Comrade Boilers, launch another ion drive up to his orbit. Oh, it's a great game. It's one of those games you could play single player. It's like a Euro game, but you don't care about the points, though.
Right.
You just need to make things work.
Which is hard.
It's so hard because you have to test out. So say, okay, rockets are pretty easy. You launch a rocket 3 times because whenever you research a tech, you get the card for the tech and you get 3 chits on it. The chits are either successes, failures, or critical failures. So you launch a rocket up, you take a success, or you flip one of the chits. Oh, it's a failure. Pay $5,000. That failure goes away. $5 million.
Everything's millions of dollars.
Oh. I was thinking about an expansion, but that's... Hold on.
Don't even start.
I don't even want to start.
Don't even start yourself.
But you launch it again, you get a success, you pay to get that success out of your little stack, and the last one's success, and there you go. You got a rocket that you can reliably launch.
Nice.
But things for like docking and life support in space, you actually have to get them up into space and do the thing. So it gets really expensive, and each year your money resets to 25 million. That's like your budget.
Oh.
So you can't like bank 2 million from the year prior.
Oh, okay.
So you have to work with the same amount of money each turn of the game.
Jeez.
But what you could do is, on your first turn, say you fully researched some rockets, spent all your 25 million. Next turn, somebody else takes that research. You're like, I'll sell you all the progress on my research for $20 million. So now they have full researched things, saved them $5 million, and you got an extra 20 to mess with. So they can not take the trade, obviously.
There is a lot of player interaction, more than you would think in this game, of selling and buying. And
It's good.
Right.
I ended up being basically in the old Civ games where you could like research a whole bunch of tech and then just like tech trade it out. That was me.
I had one singular goal in mind of to put a man on the moon and get him back, and this frustrated me to the point of after hours of being unable to do it, I was just like, how do we do this? Unlimited resources, explain it to me. And he was able to figure out a way.
It took like a decade.
It would take
buying rockets and stuff.
You'd probably be near the end of the game before you could actually have it done, because it would take you so much time and resources. You have to buy so many of the particular rockets, and food, and landers, and escape pods, and
crew, and
crew, and food, and whatever else. It's just seemingly impossible levels.
At least with the moon, you could get off of it with an ion, and then dump the ion before, or redock.
I don't know that you could. I don't think you could get off the moon with ion drives, because they take a year, and it doesn't take a year to get to the moon.
Real life ion drives couldn't get you off the moon's gravity. You need something more powerful than that.
We have real life ion drives?
Well, I mean, ion drives thrust is like pounds, and that's like it.
Right. Yeah, they're not a lot.
No,
It's like
they're good
barely.
for planetary stuff in this game.
Oh, but we didn't have ion drives in 1960s.
No.
Okay.
It's meant to accelerate
Remembers
you
if
for
only.
like decimals
Whap.
on the meters per second. What?
I was saying you remember the 1960s. It was a joke. Cut it.
Oh.
Cut the
Cut this joke. I've decided to sandbag my own. I've decided to cement shoes my own joke.
I keep almost buying. It might be one of those I asked for a birthday coming up from the parents. Or
How
from
much
the
is
girlfriend.
it? Is it a lot?
It's like 40, but I also want to
Not
get
a
the
lot.
space station one, which is also 40, and the Outer Worlds, which is also like 40.
Yeah, that's like 120.
It's worth it.
Yeah. It's a
It's
custom
a handmade
print
game too. It's real cool.
Yeah, everything on it is so good. The artwork is perfect. So this game got me wanting more space in my life. Not like more space, but more spacey things. So I re-downloaded and started playing Kerbal Space Program. I forget how to do orbital mechanics because that game is just an orbital mechanics simulator.
Oof.
It's a 1/3 scale solar system with actual, like, physics.
I don't know a dang thing about the Kerbal
Is it
thing.
like those little weird wide-eyed boys?
Little weird green guys.
Yeah.
And then I started going down the rabbit hole of, like, NASA and SpaceX launches and watching missions. Dude, space is cool.
Yeah. There's a reason you can just add the word space in front of anything and multiply the cool factor instantaneously.
Space drugs.
Right.
You know what? You're right.
No.
It works with
I would try
everything.
space drugs.
It's the same way that adding juice to anything that is not a fruit makes it terrible.
Taco juice.
Exactly. Awful terrible. Computer juice. Awful terrible.
You don't want computer juice.
No.
That means you got a virus.
Right.
Man
An actual
juice.
virus.
See? Awful. Terrible.
What?
Nobody wants that.
Man juice.
Da, 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 da.
Did that even register on the capture? Because I'm pretty
A
sure it's
little
going to be
bit.
like this
There's like a
littlest,
little-
tiniest waveform. Someone's going to have to enhance this audio like 8 million times.
Enhance.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What happened?
Same hat.
Oh, hey. Speaking of enhance, Rainy, how was your week?
Oh my gosh, me? Oh geez. Oh
or
golly.
2 weeks.
Oh gosh.
Oh, jeez.
Let me check my notes where I have just written Golden Girls down. I watched a lot of Golden Girls.
Hey,
I got
thank
a new
you
job.
for being a friend.
Yeah, I got a new job a little less than a month ago. Kyle didn't try to do that fucking bit he was talking about doing in the car. So that's good.
Don't.
I'm not going to
What?
do the bit. I'm not
Not
going
gonna
to
do
do the bit.
Do it.
Uh,
Do it. We need
mentioned it.
content.
I completely
It's
forgot
not-
about it.
It's not even a bit that is worth bidding.
It was.
Oh, you
Do it.
You
Do it, you
Uh,
coward.
No.
Okay, hard reset. Hard
not good
reset. Ready for it. All right,
not
your
a
cue is
bit.
3,
All right, take it
2,
from
1.
the top.
It's
Action.
not a bit.
Don't.
It's just he wants me to sing the theme song while he goes dun dun in the background.
Theme song
it's
to
not
what?
a bit
Golden
of the
Girls.
Golden Girls. It's not a bit.
She mentioned it in the car on the way over here, and then we just started doing that back and forth for like 5 minutes straight.
That's a
Oh,
couple
my-
bit.
It
That's
is
a couple
I was
times.
like, oh, that'd be
Thank
so
you.
cool to
It
do,
is a
and-
couple bit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a
couple
couple bit.
not a person, a podcast bit.
Oh, that
Couple
was
bit.
funny.
A full- Anyway, I,
That's something. That's
That's
it's like
This is an anime. What?
Kyle's just making
No, that's a
noises.
real thing. That might be Aussie. I don't know. I'm gonna have to
Oh.
look that up later.
Anyways, Golden Girls.
But
yeah. Tell us about them, Blanche and Sophia.
so I got a new job. So I've been working nights the past month, and so I get home at like 11. Kyle's already asleep. I don't work until like 4 the next day, so I'm up all night. And so I've just started to watch the Golden Girls in that time of loneliness. And I gotta say, I forgot how really ahead of its time it was.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the fact that the first episode, which is of course a pilot episode, there's a character in it that is never mentioned again because I imagine he did not go over well. It was a very like stereotypical, flamboyantly gay young chef that they had.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yes, he was only in the first episode,
Oh.
and then they never mentioned him again because I imagine it didn't test well. But besides that, show's very ahead of its time. They touch on a lot of things. They touch a lot of mortality, of course, because it's for old women that are living together. And, God, I love the sense of humor, the dry sense of humor. One of them is incredibly sexual and into sex, and she's not afraid to talk about it, which, just a woman in general being into sex at that time was kind of like taboo. But, like, an old woman in, like, her 50s, 60s being into sex was like, what? No, you're not even supposed to like sex then. Like, kind of taboo. So it was really ahead of its time in that she was very open about that. There's an episode where a professor tells one of them she can only pass his class if she has sex with them. And they talk about that, and she tries to go to somebody about it, and they don't believe her. And that's a thing that the sexual assault and the victim speaking up and not being believed kind of stuff they talk about. There's a lot of feminist issues involved in it, which was surprising how much there was really in that. Like, they talk about, like, how one of them was drugged on a date.
Ooh.
like, actually, the main character, Dorothy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Her marriage of 36 years happened because Stan, her ex-husband, guilted her into going on a date with him when she was a teenager because he was like, I'm going off to war and I'll probably die. This is all I want. And then on the date, he drugged her drink and he got her pregnant, and then she married him because she had to. And they were together for 36 years before he cheated on her and left her. And that's like one of the main relationship stories in the show. And it came across from that. They talk about these issues pretty heavily. It's really nice to see just a older woman with experience talking about these issues, how they handled them, like still handling them. There's a lot of ageism that they have to deal with. Like Rose at some point, she gets laid off from her job and she has a really hard time finding a new one because nobody wants to hire a 55-year-old woman. They're like, you're too old for us. We don't want you. And that's a pretty big issue that they touch on as well. It's really fantastic. The humor is so on point. Everything is really enjoyable about the show and just has a very nice kind of like homey feel to it. I really like watching it. And, there's just so much stuff that they touch on that I forgot they did. When I was just a kid watching it, I didn't catch on any of this kind of stuff. And it's really great for me now, who is much more involved in this kind of stuff and all about it, that I'm like, this is great. And there's an episode that I just watched where, like, Dorothy, like, all she does is talk about this guy who's back in town. She was in love with him in high school. She was so obsessed with him, but he never went out with her, and now he's asking to meet up, and she spends the whole episode talking about how hyped she is about this guy. And then at the end of the episode, she's like, oh, has so-and-so called? We're going on another date. And they're like, ooh, so it's going well? Is he your dream guy? Are you going to start dating? She goes, oh, no, turns out he's gay, but, I really like him. He's a good friend.
Aww.
And she says it so casually and so without any bitterness or, like, resentment or disgust after talking the whole episode about how in love with him she was, that it's just really refreshing that she's just not like, oh, no point in seeing him again. He is gay, like a lot of other sitcoms would handle
that
it.
would have been like Family Matters or anything else that came out that time.
Yeah.
It'd be like, gay?
Yeah, like even shows today have had kind of like plot lines like that where they just go, oh, I guess I can't see him anymore. He's gay. It's a way to break my heart. And then this show from like way far time ago.
I think like
is just,
86.
yeah, like back in the times where that stuff wasn't really talked about, was just like casually like, oh, he's gay, but we're going to keep being friends. We're going out again tonight, having a good time. And it was just enjoyable. I'm really enjoying watching this show. It's so just sweet. It's so my cup of tea of just like relaxing and putting on some Golden Girls and hearing the theme song and just being like, just a nice old ladies hanging out, chatting. Was it 86?
It was 86.
Dang.
I got a good feel for
On
that.
point.
So when I first Googled it, though, I accidentally Googled the Golden Grills.
Oh no.
Golden Grills.
Not that. But I'm really enjoying it. Besides that, I've been playing a lot of Town of Salem, which is an online game. It's very similar to Ultimate Werewolf, the board game.
I used to play that with you a lot when we first started dating.
Whenever we started dating, we
I
did.
remember you guys talking about that.
I quit playing it a couple years ago because, as with any free online game, it was full of a bunch of, like, racist dickheads, especially during 2016 when a certain person came into the spotlight.
We can call him the Cheeto.
The disgusting Grossman.
The Cheeto?
Because he looks like a Cheeto.
He's orange, like a Cheeto.
I get it. I get it. I associate. I thought more square. I thought a perfect square.
No.
And I was
Cheetos
like,
aren't
what?
even square.
What?
Cheetos aren't square.
Sure they are.
Are
Wait,
you
they're
thinking of the
turd-shaped.
little crunchy kind of wiggly sticks? With Chester Cheetos?
our first episode was about Chester Cheeto. You better know what a Chester Cheeto is.
Cheetos are the little squares of cheese.
No.
Those
No,
are
that's
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its, man.
Cheez-Its. They're the little crunchy, like, squiggly things. They're like
Sometimes
cheesy
they're poofy.
poofs.
They're cheese poofs.
They're cheesy poofs, but skinny.
I thought they were squares.
Oh boy, that's
those are
Cheez-Its?
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its.
I always
Someone
thought box of
Google
Cheetos.
Ritter. Someone please Google Ritter a picture of Cheetos so he knows.
I thought I know what you mean now. I know what Cheetos look like.
Those are
Yeah.
Cheez-Its.
Crunchy Cheetos. But I thought they were all just the same generic.
No, that's
in
not even
different
the
shapes.
same
They're
brand,
the same
I don't think.
ingredients and same fake cheese, but
I
Right.
don't even think that's
Same
the
fake cheese taste.
brand.
How dare you? Cheetos are made with
Actually,
real cheese.
I like Cheetos, and I hate
Real.
Cheez-Its.
cheese.
That it was a good visual joke of the of the quotation marks around your real cheese.
Well, I did it for the streaming cast. I installed
we
hidden
better not
cameras
be on
all over this
stream.
apartment.
Ugh.
Nope. I did not consent.
They can look at your weird pants. Your pants aren't weird.
How are they weird? It's
They're
jeans.
not weird. I was just going from the bit earlier. Your pants are fine.
Ladies, you know what pants we're talking about. The ones that are like the weird bright blue, the carpenter pants.
They're not
that are
even
really
bright.
bad texture. They're not a good texture.
What do you mean they're not a
they
good
don't
texture? These are
flatter
very
a guy
comfortable
very well.
jeans.
You know what I'm talking about.
Are you comfortable in
girls.
those?
These are fine jeans.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, Ray's just got a weird thing about carpenter.
It's
too.
not just me. Hannah spent like an hour complaining about Ritter's jeans the other day.
She did not.
She did. You can text her right now. She spent like an hour talking to me about your jeans.
What do you mean she did?
I'm serious.
She hasn't mentioned a word to me.
She said she has.
She
Ready
told me
to
my
start drama here?
socks.
I'm not starting
She
drama.
said-
It's jeans. It's not a big deal, but
She said I needed new socks,
You do need
which I am
new
also
socks,
fine
too.
with these socks.
Hannah's gonna
Because
get you
they're socks.
some real bad socks if you don't get cute socks. She's gonna get you some weird anime girl socks she keeps looking at.
Well,
You
I
better
won't
watch
wear
out.
them.
Oh, you want to
Not
wear a
even
gift
on a
from
date?
your girlfriend?
Well, if I'm at work and I break
You're
my
right.
foot and
You're
they
right.
gotta cut the boot off, and that's what's inside my boot, they will fire me.
Still get fired.
I will
would
be
just
found out.
fire.
It's
They
like
will not
the
even
I
ask.
hate
They're
gal
like,
face
"All right, you're
one.
out. You're
Here's your
just
pink
out."
slip.
It's
Yeah.
a gross
Is it a pink
I
slip?
hate gal face one that's like
Oh
all
God.
over it. Yeah, it's not great. So it would be pretty bad. But looping back past the jean and the sock discussion, I stopped playing it because it got really bad, and the chat was always just spammed with a bunch of people saying very anti-Semitic or racist or homophobic things, stuff like that, and it just wore down on me, made me not enjoy the game. But I've come back to it now that I'm working these nights again, because that's what I did in college when I would stay up real late, is play that game. So, and it seems like it's mellowed out a lot. Like, it's really gotten more chill, and it's just really
Mods will do
enjoyable.
that. You get some good mods in a game, and they just start banning people when they talk about garbage they're not supposed to, and you fix that.
I don't think the mods really do anything is a problem. I think it's just, I think the people who did that crappy kind of stuff have, I think the people who did that kind of crappy stuff have just gotten over doing that kind of crappy stuff, or got sick of the game, or whatever,
This is also possible, but I know in Final Fantasy XIV, like, you say one sentence, and you instantly have a mod messaging you like, hey, you cut that out. You say a second
Oh, that's
sentence,
good.
banned out.
That's really nice.
Why
It's
can't
good
we
to
have
have
that
good
in real
mods.
life?
I know.
Well, what,
Someone
with
just
a
shows
bullet?
up and goes, quit that.
No.
How do
they
you
just
ban them from
They just
life?
go in a timeout for like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We just have these
I don't want
giant
anybody to
kennels
get
for
hurt.
humans.
Like, I mean,
Yeah,
you
sure.
some
still got
people
free
should
speech,
probably
but
get hurt.
You go to
Hey,
jail though.
free speech protects you from jail, not from the rainy. I
That's why we
quoted
have
that
little
from
timeouts.
Justin
Just be like,
McElroy.
hey, bud, bring it in. Bud, don't do that. Just go to timeout. Just 10 minutes. Cool your jets.
I know
Jet
If it
fuel
would do
does
any
melt steel
good.
beam.
Dan's totalitarian timeout
Yeah,
regime.
if it would do any good.
I like the alliteration on it.
I know. Someone was talking about how what they do is they just very firmly and very sternly go, "We don't do that here." Like they can say it. It leaves the like you can say whatever you want outside of here, but here we don't do that here. It brings a collectiveness of like all of us are not okay with that into it, and also it's just kind of like a very simple like we don't do that here. So
Twitch handles
don't.
it pretty good too. Whenever I was experimenting for this on Twitch, you can just straight up be like, these are the words that if they appear in chat, that person's message does not come through.
I've been trying to figure out how to get that on our subreddit, the auto mod ban, and put
Yeah.
some words in. I think I've got it, but all the words I have in under ban are not something I want to put on Reddit to test and make sure it would filter it out. Because if it
dear,
gets through,
dear listeners out there, go and blow up our Reddit with all of the answers.
Why
All of the
would you do
garbage
this?
stuff you can.
I'm just nervous to like
Yeah, no.
post something and then it goes through and it's like, can you believe that Reddit user that said that one terrible thing just tweeted out? I mean, just posted that one bad word on our own subreddit, and I'm
And
going
you-
to be like, I was testing.
all of our
You
raving
can't
fans are
even
going to
be
catch that
like-
immediately.
You can't even preamble it with like, "Hey guys, I'm just going to test this real quick." Line of terrible things because someone will screen grab it, edit it, take out the little bit where you said, "Hey, I'm just testing this," and be like, "This is how I really feel," and put all this stuff in there.
You're
It's like when
absolutely
you're
right.
a little kid and your older sibling's like, "Yo, say fuck," and you're like, "I don't know. I don't know if I can." It's like, "No, go ahead, say fuck." And I'm like, "Okay, fuck, Mom, Dad said fuck."
When I was in 3rd grade and my older brother was in 4th grade, we made a pact that we could whisper one bad word into each other's ears without like telling on each other. And I had like a bully at the time, and like that I hated, and I just like whispered in my brother's ear, "I think she's a bitch," and he was like, "Nice." And then he like walks out, he like whispers in my ear, "Fuck," and I'm like, "Oh!" And we just kept it secret, kept it safe. We were 3rd and 4th grade, so we were older than we probably should have been to be like that.
I
but
was like that. I didn't
Oh,
start
man.
cussing until middle school, and the puberty monster entered my life.
I didn't start cussing, I think, until like 8th
Even then, I
grade.
didn't
Like
really cuss
on
that
my
much.
way out of middle school. Like 8th grade is when I started actually using curse words, and then it was no holds fucking bars. Like every other word now for me is fuck.
Fuck's
just
a good word.
happened.
It's
It
just a good filler word.
It just happened. Like, and it wasn't like, it was never, I don't think there was ever a time in my life where I tried to be more edgy and use more curse words. It just kind of became a natural part of my vocabulary to where fuck and asshole. I call people bitches when I don't mean it. Like, I'm like, "Oh, did you hear about that bitch the other day that did that one thing?" And she didn't do anything. They're like, "Why she's a bitch?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't, that's just the word. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's
I
just a
didn't mean
word. It was
to,
a
I
filler
guess I
word."
didn't mean to say that, but I just meant this person." Like, or like, it's just become like unintentional filler for me. It's not, for the sake of saying fuck that I say fuck. It's just, it's there now. It's just how it is. I don't know.
Can we all say fuck on 3? Now, podcast listeners, don't tell our parents that we're going to say fuck.
Please don't
all right?
tell my mom.
1, 2, 3.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Oh, it was
Oh, we
only
got 2
Dan
good
and I.
boys in here. We got
Only
we-
Dan and
I ain't putting up with your dang peer
Aw.
pressure. Let's do this thing. Hee hee. Funny,
The
funny
other
joke.
day, Hannah said, hey, the other day Hannah said fuck, and I laughed my goddamn mind out. Like she was.
She said a
quoting,
fuck?
She was quoting the Shakespeare thing. She said she was telling us all about shitface Shakespeare that Ritter and her went to see. Which
Oh, how
apparently-
was that? Oh, we're not in your
I
house
figured,
yet.
I figured he'd talk about it in a sec because I'm done with mine. I'm just saying this real quick, but she was like telling me about it, and she goes, and at some point he looks at the crowd and goes, and that's fucking Shakespeare, baby. And I'm like, just Hannah like yelling it with the fervor of a drunken man. It made me lose my goddamn mind.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I was losing it. Oh my god,
Oh.
it was so good. Hearing Hannah say fuck is a pleasure. She never says it every once in a while, but it's usually when she's annoyed. So hearing it when she's not is great. Because last time I heard her say fuck, it was just because like Percy had scratched her and she was like, "Fucking stop," because she was having a bad day. And
I've
I was
never
like,
heard her say a swear.
Hannah, I've heard her say I think 5
I
in
like-
our life
I
together.
like the whole bit of not swearing, except for like that 1 or 2 times a year where it's like, I gotta bust out the big guns because fuck.
Yeah, I've known Hannah since 2013, and I have heard her say a swear 5 times, and it was bitch, ass, and then fuck, fuck, fuck. And then the last fuck was her quoting someone else, so it wasn't even like full
Makes
fuck.
it that much more impactful
does.
whenever somebody
Mhm.
like that does.
Every time
say
Hannah's
something.
little old sweet voice says fuck, I'm like, I lose my mind. I go feral for like 5 minutes, and it cracks me up. Ritter, tell
Yes.
us more.
What are your
a whole
haps?
lot else to say
What's
about it.
up?
I mean, it was a show. I didn't know. What I was really getting into with it.
Yeah.
It was different. I've been thinking, and I'm trying to piece it together. Like after seeing the show, there, I really wonder how much of it was an act and how much of it was not, because they had a guy. It was the guy who played Romeo was the one who was heavily intoxicated
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing, and they had like for, I think, 5 people in the show, and there was an extra, like, MC, announcer, whatever you call him, ringmaster of the circus, whatever, that did the actual introduction, said, here's what they've been drinking. They were drinking some kind of peach drink thingy, and some other...
Peach schnapps?
I don't know. Hannah, like, whenever they said what it was, she was like, oh, that's bad. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's a big one.
They'd had stuff for 4 hours, apparently, they'd been drinking before they actually went on
Oh,
stage.
jeez.
So, they were damage control. That if the guy went too far, they were like, no, listen, you gotta do this thing. Like, we got lines, you're on
I heard
stage.
someone in the audience was determined to hold a bucket and run up were he to look like he was about to vomit.
Yeah.
What
That's
would you
gotta be
have
a plant.
done if they gave you... No, it's like the
If
whole
they
front row of the
had-
audience got different jobs.
There were
apparently.
3 people in the audience, 4 actually, but 3 people. The first one was given a gong, and he was during the interval of the show was allowed to bang the gong once and force the man to take another drink. Somebody was given a small trumpet that they were supposed to blow, and that would also force him to take a drink. One guy was given it was a weird thing. I don't even know how it worked. It was like this little like horn clacker thing, something like that. I think it was for if stuff went too far. It was like a thing of that. And lastly, someone was given a bucket. And it was like if something happens, if they yell bucket, you get this bucket up. If they had given me that and said that was my job, I would have handed it back and walked out of the entire theater. I'd have been like, no, I'm not putting up with this if this is a possibility. I was like halfway, and it really annoys me because they're like going through the description. He's like had this and he's had that, and he's like, it could happen. And everyone in the place is laughing, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why am I like literally crawling in my skin over this possibility?
I don't know. It's just, I mean, I imagine somebody, I mean, you kind of have to go into that expecting that as a possibility when the whole premise of the show is that at least one person is wasted.
Yeah, Ritter is highly averted to puking.
It just
Hannah did mention she
turns
was
my
nervous
entire
about
blood
that.
cold. Like, I was just in a panic state that would happen at some point because I was like, I can't deal with that.
Though.
It didn't.
No,
and as soon as the show was over, I was fine. But man, I'll just say it severely hampered my ability to enjoy that show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was that possibility? And I don't know. I felt bad because I couldn't even gauge how much Hannah liked it.
Oh, she
Like,
loved it though.
I thought like, oh great, I've ruined this. This is all terrible. Because I felt like I wasn't even like they'd make jokes and I'd be like, okay. Is he all right?
Oh, Ritter.
He's gonna make it, right? Everything's fine. I'll be fine. All right, great. Even thinking of it now gives me a headache.
I wish I could have just seen that one moment that Hannah described to us of him going through it and stumbling through the entire thing, and then there's that one moment where he just stands up and just says that entire speech so perfectly, word for word from the play, and then he's just like, "That's Shakespeare."
Yeah, that's apparently what happened. Like,
there's a monologue of Romeo's that he does correctly. Is it
the big one like before he does the drinky poo?
Excuse me?
why don't you tell them how that ended up ending with the edits Romeo decided to make to Romeo and Juliet?
Oh yeah. So
Did he go rogue?
Yeah.
So
Apparently he went super rogue.
in the fight between Tybalt and Mercutio,
Yeah.
where Mercutio normally gets murked by Tybalt. Or wait, is that what happens? What happens that Romeo gets exiled? Is it Mercutio dies?
I think Mercutio gets caught, but I could be
yeah,
wrong.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
been
it's
years.
Mercutio. And then Romeo kills Tybalt.
Yeah, and
And
of
then
revenge.
that's when Romeo's like banished. So in this, Romeo decides that he died there. And Mercutio gets to live. He brings him back to life with magic.
I guess he
and then
laid
dies.
down and went, "You take my life force," and refused to get back up, even though people kept telling him he needed to get back up. He just kept flopping down and going,
Like,
"No, I'm dead.
they're like,
No, I'm dead."
their exact line was, so in your rendition of Romeo and Juliet, Romeo dies in the second act? It's like, yep!
Was Was he just like, I'm too drunk for this, I'm done?
That's what I wonder was it because he had to tap out because he was too drunk?
He might have had
Or
to tap out.
was
Was
it-
for 4 hours?
Maybe they have like 3 or 4 variations they can go into where like, I'm doing this one tonight in case people have seen this show. Because they did a thing at the beginning. It's like, who all's seen this? And the entire place erupted.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. I'm surprised there's such a huge returning crowd.
I mean, it's got to change every time, right? With a different person drunk each time.
Well, that's what I wondered.
I think it just is chaos, and they have to go around whatever the drunk person says.
Well, I mean, I don't see how it could be anyone other than Romeo. Because, like, Mercutio and the other person they have when they're first in there and they're doing the bit about, oh, I hate those Capulets or Montagues, whatever, which one they are. I forget. Romeo is Montague. Yeah, Juliet Capulet. Mm-hmm. And they're doing their little thing and Tybalt shows up and he's like, what are you talking about us? I'll flay you. And they do a sword fight and everything. So, I feel like if one of them was drunk, it wouldn't be as funny. I think you would have to have either Romeo drunk or maybe Juliet, but no, I think it has to be.
Drunk Juliet wouldn't be. What if they both were drunk? It's the two leads of the play.
I don't think it's too long.
Hannah told me that later Romeo decides to come back, but as a priest, like a different character.
Yeah, he decides that he's the priest, and using necromancy, he's possessed his body.
Yeah, and so he has possessed himself as Romeo again. And him and Juliet, I guess at the end, decided they were just going to go on a no-mercy kill run and run off together.
Right, they're like,
Neither of them pretended to be dead.
Yeah, it's like, you're one of the only 2 women in this entire town. I'm one of the 3 men in this entire town. We can just take the others out.
And that's what they did. They just apparently, together, Romeo came back from the dead with some kind of magic.
Yeah, necromancy specifically.
Yep. Got with Juliet, murdered everyone in the town, left.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I want to see one of these now.
The end.
Yeah, pretty sure that was, but yeah, I really, being skeptical, I wonder how much of it was actually rehearsed. It's like, we know that this is going to happen. You know that you're going to play up this drunk angle. Because I don't really know what it's like. I don't know. It's
might
just
be
a weird thing for
like
me.
Shakespearean, like, I forget, are they just like, all they do is Shakespeare and they go from town to town?
Yeah, they do like
But-
1 hour shorts of
Yeah, there's a
Shakespeare.
lot of like Shakespeare troops, so if these people know the play that well and like they work together long enough, you could have a drunk guy try to ad-lib some stuff.
Well, they had like even a choreographed dance scene.
Oh.
Where like, he was doing the dance like 90% right. Like he was on there, so he's done this before. And people were impressed, and he was up there on the stage like, oh my goodness, am I the only one doing this right? What's going on? So, like, he's done it. He knows what is happening. But yeah, I felt like there could have been things that were potentially scripted, but things maybe potentially not. So, I don't know.
As someone who has been very drunk, everything that has been described to me is something that I could see myself also going off the bars with if I was very drunk. Like, just laying down and be like, no, I'm dead, fuck you. No, fuck you, I'm dead now. I'm dead. Like, I could see
That was Kyle. He'd be like, I'm dead. I'm fucking...
Kyle's just
If it was
trying
Kylie,
to wear the
just would
chair.
turn over the bed that's on the stage with props.
That one drinking night that, like, Kyle fell asleep right, like, in my little hallway area. Mm-hmm. And we ended up just playing, like, cards.
I forgot you just laid down on the floor and, like...
It's like, Kyle, there's a
I'm
couch
going
there,
to
like,
I was so
"Mm."
tired.
It's like, Kyle,
Seriously,
just
it was
gotta
like
walk 2
past
feet.
midnight.
It's like, Kyle, go to bed. He's like, Kyle.
This is bed. This hard linoleum floor.
It is cool. It will be comfy.
Nah, but I heard it was really good, though. Hannah had nothing but good things to say about
Okay,
it.
that's actually really good. I'm glad.
She had, like, a spectacular time.
Okay. Good.
I did hear there
And
was
you
at
guys-
some point where they had to yell to get the bucket just in case, and then he didn't vomit.
Did that happen? I must have blocked that out.
She said it was during the dance scene that you described. I guess he like twirled like he was supposed to, but he went the opposite way, and then he kind of lurched forward, and the woman went bucket, and then he was fine. But like he just
must
kind of
be
like
joking. I
he
missed
just kind
that.
of like tripped, and she was concerned for a sec, but then he was like fine. But it's good you missed it, I guess. But yeah, I guess that she did tell me that at some point that happened, and she was worried about you, but it turned out all right.
Did you see how good they looked on that date together?
They did look good. They were
I
sweet.
hate that so much. I only
were a
have
handsome
one face
custom.
that I can do. It's like annoys me. I look at 2 different pictures of her, and then I look at me and I'm like, how am I doing the exact same thing? Look like a dang fool.
It's your blue steel.
Blue
what?
steel.
It's from
Zoolander.
Was it Zoolander? Yeah.
Zoolander?
It's a
Zoolander.
comedy movie about this model turned spy.
Ben Stiller comedy movie.
Yeah, Ben Stiller. Yeah.
The second
All right.
one wasn't as good.
There was a second one.
There was. It wasn't as good.
I just remember the blue steel bit.
God, I love Will Ferrell in that movie. Mugatu.
Oh, he was in it. It's been
Yeah,
years
he
since
was.
I've seen it.
Oh, I love Will Ferrell.
I just remember Blue Steel.
him in every role. Love that man.
Hey,
Wait.
Wait.
Is there anything else you did, Ritter?
Nope.
Oh, okay, go on.
hey,
Wait.
hey,
What?
what?
Hey, Kyle, what have you been up to?
No.
I just wanted to steal Dan's... I just wanted to cement shoes his thunder.
Oh no, I'm
Nope.
sleeping with the fishes now.
No, your thunder is.
Oh,
Your thunder has the cement shoes on.
oh no.
It's big shoes.
Oh no. Hey, Kyle, what have you been up to?
What? Few
Lately?
things. Wait, I mean, no.
Oh.
Okay.
In your rendition of this podcast, Kyle just dies at his part to tell his story.
Kyle says no and just lays down.
Montague's alive, not me. Let's take it to Montague. Montague, what you been doing?
That's his last name. That's not even his name. It's
Dang it.
Mercutio.
Okay, well, anyways,
Ruined
what
it.
I've been doing.
Soiled
Let's not go over the fact that
Soiled
I've never actually read Romeo and Juliet.
You were supposed to in school. no
I was
doubt.
not supposed to because I had a Doddridge County education.
Oh. I don't know what that means, but I'll take
It means it was bad.
Ah.
We read Othello, I think, instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played that. It's fun.
You gotta flip over the black things to the white things,
Yeah.
and then you gotta put them in lines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have an
that hurt
Othello
so
board
bad from
somewhere.
that chicken nugget.
I'd play some Othello.
Yeah. It's like chess.
Yeah, but with flipping things.
Yeah, it's always it seems to be a bit in manga very popularly where like the dumb character or whatever, the one who's like stereotypically dumb will just beat everyone in Othello and they're like, how? How did you, like they just get to the end and they have it full board clear, done. And they're like, what? How did I get here?
What happened?
What happened? Wait, literally.
Who did this? Kyle.
What?
Are you going to tell us
Oh, yeah,
anything?
space
Or
out a little bit, sorry.
I was like, I
Thinking
don't
about
want
Othello.
to.
what happened?
Yeah. Homeless Jesus, or homebound Jesus, whatever we're calling him now. He came back into town for a bit, and I've been playing a lot of games with him. We just went to Cooper's Rock last night and camped out, and we stopped at Game Shop in Morgantown, and he bought a new game. We played that game while we were camping, actually. It's called Dice Forge. So you got these die, not little, they're actually really big die that have a bunch of grooves in them, and there's a bunch of little pegs and stuff you put into the die and make your own die faces. You can kind of like make your own dice. And you buy new die faces as you go through the game, and a bunch of cards you can buy for victory points and reroll and stuff. It's a fun game. It's fairly easy to catch on. It's pretty simple, and it's a nice setup. It's like $40. So, yeah, we played that while we were camping last night. And throughout the week, I went over to Gunman's house. He was sleeping over there, and we all three played Clank 3 times this week.
Normal Clank or
Normal Clank, yeah.
Okay.
Regular Clank, not Clank in Space. Because
Which one do you prefer better?
I prefer Clank in Space, but Homebound Jesus didn't get to play it. He's never played it before, and he was
Yeah.
like really into it, so he wanted to keep playing it. So
It's a good.
it's a good game. Yeah, I played it. I was happy to play it like 3 different times. But we played that. We played Unearth, which is another little game, dice game you can roll and try to get ruins claimed and stuff. It's another fun game. It's like $30 too. It's pretty cheap. Did that. Went hiking, climbing.
Did you see that big rock?
We saw a big rock. Saw many big rocks.
But
Climbed
you see
up many
that big rock?
That big rock? I don't know if
Yeah.
I saw that big rock.
The one that
Okay.
Cooper claimed?
Cooper claimed all the rocks.
You can't claim all the rocks. That's against the rules.
It's not called Cooper's Rocks, it's called Cooper's Rock.
All the light touches is Cooper's.
It'll all touch it eventually, though. Unless it's buried.
Exactly.
I've never understood that line. I was like, what are you talking about?
They're lions.
They don't understand how the globe works.
Yeah.
Wait. They know it's the flat Earth.
Oh my
So
God.
Mufasa was like deep in that flat Earth.
Ooh.
So
You're telling me even on the flat Earth, the sun only ever hits one particular part of the world?
The sky isn't the actual sky. It's a big, huge LED screen that projects the sky.
Yeah.
So Mufasa was the one that was that kept actually telling everybody that the Earth was flat, and Scar was trying to get everybody to make sense. He was trying to educate everybody. He was trying to take down the dictator that was trying to keep everybody dumb and in line. Scar was the true hero of the Lion King.
Wait, do you think Mufasa had something to do with all of those elephants being in that one place all dead? Was there like a great elephant genocide?
Oh man, was he trying to keep a secret down?
Elephants. In the world where the elephants like bow to the lions as king and everything, do you think they just make like a sacrifice once a week? They're like, it's your turn to feed our king, and they just send them.
The great Mufasa cover-up of the elephant sacrifices.
Lion King's fucked up.
Wow.
I think it's fucked up that, I mean, canonically, right, there's a part where the sun just doesn't go for some reason. That's the whole point about the wasteland, is that the light never touches there. For some reason, the sun just doesn't shine there, and they never explain that. They're just like, well, that's not ours, I don't know.
I think you're
Sun don't go
overanalyzing the
there.
Lion King.
It's true,
I don't
though.
think
Like,
we
they,
are,
they don't
though.
explain that. Just the sun don't go there. I don't know, sun don't go there. We don't know what's up with that.
That seems like an awful lot. I mean, it's a cartoon.
It's just Hamlet.
Who?
What?
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 Where?
What?
Say it's just anime or Hamlet?
Hamlet.
I mean, it is just
And
Hamlet.
it's just Hamlet.
Anime Hamlet.
And what about all those birds? Those birds aren't real. They're all drones. They didn't have drones back in 1994.
Instead of a live action Lion King, they should have made an anime Lion King.
Or they should have
already
just done
been done.
cats.
What?
Already been done. Go look it up.
Oh, isn't that what Lion King's
Kimba
based
the
on?
White Lion.
Kimba, I thought, yeah. Yep.
They definitely shouldn't have made that live action. I've heard really bad things. I imagine I'm going to hear worse things about Cats, but then
Man,
again,
can we
the
just
plot
talk
of
about cats real quick?
The plot of Cats is about, like, cats fighting for the right to take a spaceship to heaven and die.
No.
Pretty much.
No, it's not.
Google it. Google it right now.
I didn't think Cats had a
Google
plot.
it.
I
plot of
also
Cats.
didn't think cats had
I
a
thought
plot.
Cats was like, oh, look at these people acting like cats.
No,
Isn't that
no,
neat?
they're actual cats, and they're like,
And Frank's never done one.
and
one
like I
dance
said,
number.
for some reason, there's just one cat that like, they're supposed to be just cats, but there's like one cat that at some point gets arrested for breaking and entering, like by real police officers, and they never explain why that one cat is like getting charged with human things. Okay, so the plot centers on a tribe of cats called the Jellicles.
It's just that cat and Scrappy Doo not doing well in prison.
You guys, this is the plot of Cats. I'm reading it off the Cats Musical Wiki. The plot centers on a tribe of cats called the Jellicles as they come together at the annual Jellicle Ball to decide which one of them will ascend to the Heaviside layer, their version of heaven, and be reborn into a new life. And the play is about them fighting for the right to be that cat that ascends into heaven and is reborn into a new life.
Is that
was
life like
not
number 8?
kidding.
LSD bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
It was made on like LSD and cocaine and shit.
It's like Aztec sacrifice nonsense.
Is that life number, like, is that counting down from their total 9?
I
or
couldn't
what?
tell you.
Ooh.
I couldn't tell you.
That's
Or
no-
you're
like,
gonna
you
have to
only
watch
get
the
to do it
movie.
9
Do they own
times?
everything
You're gonna
that
have
the
to watch
moon
it in a
touches?
movie.
Are they like the anti-Lion King?
Maybe. Taylor Swift is in that movie.
What
She's
movie?
gonna be.
What are you
This
talking
way?
about?
They're making a Cats movie.
Yeah.
They're making the
Yeah, I know there's a terrible,
yeah. Taylor
awful
Swift's in
CG,
it for
like,
some reason.
worse than the Sonic movie looking cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dame
didn't think possible.
Judi Dench is in it for some reason. And I'm like,
Archer's mom.
Who?
what?
From
Judi
the
Dench.
cartoon?
Yeah, Archer's mom.
And
the,
then
the lady who plays Archer's mom.
Yeah. And also Archer's mom.
who's that
I don't even remember her name.
Who's that one guy that's going to be in it too that we were like, why is he there? He played Heimdall, I think, in Thor. Who is he?
Idris Elba?
Yeah, Idris
Yeah,
Elba.
yeah.
Idris
'Cause
Elba's
he's a
too-
gorgeous
too-
man.
He's too famous
Idris
right now
Elba's-
to be doing that.
He's a gorgeous, handsome man, and he
He's-
can do whatever he wants. He
Idris
should have been
Elba.
Bond.
He's too famous right now to stoop so low already.
Well, Tasteway's in there, and I would say
Ah.
Tasteway's pretty up there.
Taylor Swift, I'm not sure what she's doing. Maybe she's just trying to get into acting. There's a difference. Taylor Swift, I don't think, has been in any movies besides cameos, so I think she's just trying to get any acting role she can. Rebel Wilson, it makes sense. Judi Dench, I don't know. She hasn't done anything in a while. Maybe she's
she was
why
also
not?
in the original production of Cats.
Oh, really?
I don't know how I know these things.
I didn't know that either. But Idris Elba's at, like, the top of his game. What is he doing?
Money, paper,
Bro,
gotta make them
he's
stacks.
already rich.
You can always have another pool.
You can always have 3 more pools.
Yeah,
That's some
definitely
Cats
mention.
money.
I guess.
That movie's gonna do gangbusters, specifically because A, it's Cats, and B, it's terrible. It's gonna make so much money,
For the memes.
and it's coming out like what, after Christmas? We should watch Cats.
We
We're not going to
should.
watch Cats.
I will.
Hard pass on watching the Cats.
I'll watch Cats.
You didn't even like Chicago. I don't even want to hear this
Yeah,
nonsense.
you didn't like Chicago.
Chicago was trying to take itself seriously. Cats is not.
Chicago is not
I
trying
think
to
it
take
is
itself
trying
seriously.
to take itself seriously, though.
It's all a mental fantasy. It's 100% just what she's imagining in her head.
It's trying to take itself seriously. It's trying to
No,
be
it's
like
not.
artsy. And
None of it. None of it's trying to be serious.
Yeah.
Anyway, we could argue.
Oh,
But
man,
anyway,
we're just
we're-
going to fight you.
We're
gonna beat you
sandbagging. We're cement shoesing. We're stealing all of Kyle's everything.
Kyle,
What he was talking
what
about.
size cement shoes you want?
12.
Okay. Here.
You know what I say about a man with big
You need
cement
Take 'em.
twelve
shoes.
wide.
What?
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 You need 12 wide cement?
The wides would be nice, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get you some cement Crocs or something.
All cement Crocs.
Nice.
They're very.
What else have you been up to, my boy?
I went and played a ROM of Metroid Fusion, my favorite GBA game of all time.
You mean a legitimate, real copy of the game on its original platform?
Yes, on its original platform of the GBA, the Game Boy Advance console, I went back and played Metroid Fusion.
So I was looking at DS's randomly.
Yeah.
The good one that isn't the 2DS XL.
No, that is the good one.
That's the good one. I was looking at that.
Yeah,
They're dirt cheap.
They're $150.
They're like 20.
No, they're not. What are you talking about?
I saw some going for like 20 on the Amazons or eBays.
No, you saw something else. What did it look like?
Just like a 3DS.
Tell me what it looked like, man.
I mean, it looked like everything else that Nintendo. Anyways,
What color was it?
I don't
What was
even
the shape?
remember.
Okay, then you're helping me none.
I don't remember.
If you want a DS, go get the 2DS XL. It's the one that's the most recent one. It's got everything in it that you want.
Got the Pokemons though.
It did have the Pokemons. It's not going to have Pokemons for Switch.
That's okay because it has all the Pokemons.
It does.
But yeah, I was looking at that as an alternative for Sword and Shield.
As an alternative.
Yeah,
Why would you want an alternative?
because I want the original. I want to be able to find the original one. You know, all the Gen 1 Pokemon, and just run mostly Gen 1 unless I run into something that's cool.
Why?
Because I like Gen 1.
Just get a ROM of...
I could
Red
just
and
get a
blue?
ROM of red or blue.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, get Leaf Green or Fire Red. Because that's all 150.
Yeah.
That's still Gen 1 until you get to, like, the Sevi Islands or whatever. I just don't see why... You know all the Gen 1 Pokemon.
Yeah, and I like them.
But you don't, like...
They all
It's
look
like
like
the
garbage
desire
cans
to
with
go-
eyes.
They do not... It's like the desire to go through and be like... Oh, I've read this book 3 times. I'm going to read it a 4th time because I like it so much. Or you can go into a whole new mystery and not know. Like, I'm excited for the new gen purely for new Pokemon. For seeing what new typing is. Like, seeing a thing and be like...
Me too.
Oh my goodness, is that an electric type? He looks like... He's a ground type. Oh no! This is bad. And stuff like that. Things that look one type that are the other, or things that could have moves that you don't know what they do, is great.
Or you
I mean,
can get
I
a full
agree.
party of Geodudes.
I love seeing the new
that- you
Pokemon.
can do that, but like I feel like you're missing the entire point of the Pokemon.
Hey, did you see the new ability Yampier has?
The pickup thing, like if you throw a
Yeah.
Pokeball and miss, he will go get it.
Yeah, he'll go get
That's
it the
great.
first time. It's only the first time, but that's still pretty freaking sick.
Yeah.
He plays Fetch.
Yeah, like just improving your Master Ball or not Master Ball, Ultra Ball economy is really cool. Or like if you go after that legendary, throw your Master Ball and miss it, and then catch it with an Ultra Ball, you get your Master Ball back. I could see that being a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how good Yamper's going to be, or Yampier.
I love the new Mecha
His
Godzilla
name is a
looking one.
pun on Ampere.
Yeah.
Ah, I get it!
Oh,
Ah, he's
It's
electric.
just Ampere
Yep.
with a Y.
yep.
I didn't get it, but now I get it.
You saw it here, folks.
Ha! I was like,
There's
what
so many spikes.
because I kept reading it as Yamper, but it's Ampere.
It is.
Oh, it's so good.
Yep.
It's so smart.
It's both.
Kyle's just like,
or
dang.
you could run 6 Geodudes.
Stop. No.
All self-destruct. All, only move that they know.
Why would I give
That's
them
why
any
you need
move?
6.
Oh crap, they have 7. Oh no, I'm not going to win this match ever.
You can't have 7. It's against the law.
Yeah. It's against
Who's going to
Pokemon
enforce the
law.
Pokemon law? That's a dumb
The
law.
Pokemon police.
Fuck
Officer Jenny is
Fuck
gonna
all the
come
Officer
after
Jennies.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, Brock
Literally
wanted to.
every Officer Jenny is going to be after you. There's like 17 of them.
Oh, and that sad old police officer in Pokemon Sun and Moon, that sad old man.
Oh, yeah. What's it?
He's
Booker.
coming for you too. Yeah, he's coming for
Is
you
he
too.
Booker?
Him and all his like
Booker?
he
That sounds like a police name.
he has 6 Meowths. If he could have more, he would. But it's the law, and he's not going to break the
He
law.
respects the law. That's why
If
his
you-
wife doesn't give him blowjobs.
If you go into his house, his wife is one of the
Continuity.
Meowths. If you go into the house, he's just got like 6 Meowths just hanging out.
Was that in this podcast, that bit, or was that before?
It was in this podcast.
What are you
Okay.
talking about? What bit?
Wait,
The one we
was
just.
it?
The illegal blowjob bit?
Oh, no,
I
that
actually
wasn't.
don't
Oh.
know.
It was.
I don't
Was it?
think it
Kyle
was.
claims it was. Ritter claims it wasn't.
We'll find this out in post,
will
and
find
this
out.
is still going to be in the podcast regardless. 'Cause I don't feel like editing
if
that much.
it's not in there, we were joking about laws. That's it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't
Good
this,
one.
because we talked about Judge Dredd's removable dick. Okay.
Yep.
That might be
Okay.
the name of the podcast.
Okay,
We have good
Kyle.
memories, all of us.
Kyle, what else have you been doing?
Metroid
We
Fusion
keep
was real fun. I got to
tangenting.
play around with it. It was great.
Yeah, that was a real neat game. The whole addition of the ledge hanging was a really cool thing. I thought that
Let's
they
say
had-
it was another ones before Fusion.
Oh, was it? That's
Yeah.
the first one I remember experiencing it in.
No, I was in the other ones before. but
That's the one that's like a almost sort of thing like Alien because you're like running from the SAX the whole
yes,
time.
it's a very fear-based thing, kind of like horror, but not horror, kind of Metroid game.
Yeah.
A lot of people knock it because it's more linear than all the other ones. It's not quite as exploration focused, but for what they were trying to do, it was a great game.
A lot of plot in there.
Yeah, lots
A
of
lot
plot.
of stuff. A lot of stuff that Other M gets flack for.
Other end
It
gets
was
flack for many things for a good reason.
Well, yeah, but still, like the plot thing, they still have the dude who called her lady.
Yeah,
You know,
they had
that-
Adam in there.
Yeah, that was a big point of contention that I remember hearing about when Other M happened, and then I went through Fusion. I watched somebody play it, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this was that old. This wasn't a new thing they invented for the game." I mean, the heels thing is pretty bad. The fact that she has heels on the
She
power
has space boots in the games for a reason, not space heels.
suit. Right.
Just give her a pair of boots and let her kick people in the face.
I've never understood the fascination with heels. I don't think I ever look at heels ever.
I
don't
don't
like it
know.
to care.
A lot of men find it sexy for some reason.
I don't
My
get it.
favorite is when they have like, I'll see comic book screenshots of like when a girl's barefoot, they still draw her as her feet would be if she was wearing heels. Just because, I don't know, they find the curve of the foot like that sexy, or they're so used to drawing her
foot.
in heels they don't know
Yeah,
how
exactly.
to draw them.
That's my thought. It's a foot.
It's a fruit.
But yeah,
not
if you
even-
look at, if you Google like barefoot comic
I will
book
not,
women,
first of all.
but or something like that. Yeah, you probably don't want to because you'll find something gross. Like
Yeah,
when I
you're gonna find a lot
accidentally
of gross
found
things.
Wiki Feet, so you don't want that. But they still draw them like arched and like on their tiptoes as if they're wearing like really high heels, even though they're barefoot. And it's like, bro,
The only
Women
heels
don't
I
look like
find
that.
acceptable are the revolver heels that Bayonetta wears.
Those are the
That's
unacceptable.
impractical and dumb and great.
Exactly.
That's a good use of heels right there.
Yep. But yeah,
They had to justify putting 2B in heels, saying that like the combat style she uses, it gives her a point of rotation to do certain moves. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. All right.
it's just an excuse.
It's an excuse. It's 100% an excuse. That's why she's dressed goth lolly to go on a mission to destroy the world or save the world.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, Fusion, it's a great game. Never got a chance to play it. You should. I played it way too many times as a kid. Like over 70 times played through.
That's a lot of times.
Yeah.
Did you ever get the fastest time to get all the thing?
I was never worried about like speed running or anything. I just always like playing through it.
Ah.
I did 100% at once, and just to say I did, but that's about it.
I never really played a Metroid game.
They're great, man. You played Castlevania, right?
Not really.
No? Oh, well. You should try
I
one.
played a little bit of like Super Metroid on a legal and legitimate copy of the game.
Nobody can hear what you're saying when you do that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're I
I know what the Metroids are, and I know what I've seen them played and touched a couple, but I've never like did a deep dive.
Super Metroid was known for kind of pioneering that genre of just they throw you into a world and you just gotta figure out what's happening. It's just an open world thing. You get a power up to let you go to another place. Like you're hard locked from places until you get like the morph ball and stuff. It was pretty pioneering for that, and like Super Metroid was like the perfection of that, and holds up to this day.
Yep.
Really.
Good platformer.
Yeah.
I liked a little bit I played of it. I just kind of tapped out of it though.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. But I played that, and then I started playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because I was heavily burned out on open world games, did not want to play them, and now I've kind of got that fatigue away, and I started playing it, and I'm glad I picked it up, because it's so far, it's good. I haven't got off of Tutorial Island yet, but
Yeah, it's good.
I'm enjoying what little I played of it so far. Maybe like an hour.
Yep. It's really neat. Whatever you do on there is just always rewarding, and always feels like you're learning something and getting something out of there, depending on if you go fast or slow. And yeah, especially with the sequel to that coming out, that's pretty hype. If I hadn't already gotten every shrine in there, I'd be probably doing that still. But yeah.
Did you get all 800?
No.
Okay.
I didn't get the Korks.
I love the ancient cyber tech looking stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
That's so cool to me.
That's a big favorite of mine.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about that. It just kind of strikes my fancy.
Yep. It's
Pretty neat. Yeah. That's pretty much all I've done. Besides the stuff that we've done together that we'll probably talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about next.
Yeah. Do it now.
Hey.
Do it
No.
now. Live.
Wait, why wait? Do
Yep.
it now?
Do it
Do
now.
it now.
Dan,
Hey guys, what
take
have
it
we all
away.
played together? Hey Kyle, remember that one time we played some Porch Hammer?
I remember that one time we played Porch Hammer. It was a good time.
It was some Imperial Knights versus some bugs.
I love that we made like a whole fluff about it.
We forged the narrative, if you will.
Oh.
Oh.
Shouting out a certain peeps.
Boo. Boo.
But we just kind of like, okay, I don't know. Just out of nowhere, we're like, you know what? That's an STC, and, you know, my Night Lance here is, you know...
Well, you kept saying STC, and I actually don't know what that
I
stands
don't know
for.
what that is either.
So...
And I doubt that
God.
some of our listeners might not know. So.
Okay. Quick Warhammer 40k lore explanation. Rainey, go into sleep mode.
I'm there already. I'm watching a video about
right.
a couple waxing their nose.
All right.
So, during the dark age of technology, there's a big old warp storm. And all of human technology were stored in these things called STCs. They were programs that could, like, run and fabricate everything from, like, a kitchen knife to an Imperial Knight. So, whenever the warp storms happened and humanity got all, like, separated before the Great Crusade, like, these valuable STCs were lost on colonies that were swallowed by warp storms. So that's why the Adeptus Mechanicus is all about, like, reclaiming lost knowledge and technology.
Okay.
And what they were claiming are these STCs, standard template.
Oh, okay. Yeah, standard template construct.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
I know what this
didn't know
is
what
now.
that stood
Okay,
for.
that's basically what they are.
Okay.
They're the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that would be invented has been invented. No more inventing. We gotta go find everything.
Unless you're Belisarius Call.
No, he found all that. He legitimately found all that. There's no Mars Dragon.
Legitimately
You're
found.
the one who should be doing this. You're the one who's on his team.
I love him, though.
Right,
He's Belisarius. Hey, you want to get in close combat with me? You're dead.
right. You'd be
He's a fucking
lobotomized.
nerd that's going to beat you up.
Right.
All my nerds are pretty good at beating people up.
Yeah. You got all those arms for the extra beating people up.
But yeah, it
We
was a
just
good
set
game.
it up randomly. We threw some terrain down. We drew like random setup cards and stuff, and it
We
was
did,
like a spearhead setup, wasn't it?
It was spearhead, but the points were touching, so there wasn't a no man's zone. So we did Open War, which is a deck of cards you can just pre-generate a mission for you, and we played points, or not points, power level. Dude, I don't know why the fuck we ever thought it was a good idea playing points. I will never play points again unless
Yeah.
I'm going to a tournament.
It's just so fast to set it up.
It's like, hey, here's 100 power level. Okay,
Do
these
something.
sides are basically equal. Like, I think my side was a little bit.
I think you had
More
like
powerful.
3 points less than me, but yeah. We set it up like that, and then we just like started randomly coming up with a narrative for ourselves. Like, all right, we're on a Forge world, and I'm the Tyranids. I'm like the big massacre bug things, and I'm coming down, and I'm trying to take this tank thing, what you said was the SEC.
Yeah, it was
And we
the
just
tank
used
with
a
the
little-
little Tyranid dude inside of it from
Yeah.
that pre-painted like scatter terrain you got that one time. The
Little-
Windows logo.
Gene Stealer in a tank looking thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's where those went. Huh,
Yeah.
I thought I lost those.
Yeah, like while the Tyranids were assaulting the planet, they really wanted to get this thing and make sure it didn't get back into the Adeptus Mechanicus hands, and the knights were sent in to defend the position, and it was real cool because it was like a spearhead against a spearhead.
Yeah.
You had your knight gallant dude with like his chainsword arm right up against the Tyranid swarm, and then first turn they swarmed the knight dude, took him down, and we kept all the pieces of the knights on the field as like rubble
Yeah.
as they got destroyed. Yeah.
So 7th edition where vehicles didn't remove, and we also played 7th edition buildings because there's a full constructed building on one corner of the map that Kyle threw some dudes in, and I was like, okay, that vehicle, that's a building, you can disembark from it, and it's open top so you can shoot out of it. It has 10 hit points.
I love that ruling. That was so cool.
And if it blows up, we'll roll, and anybody inside on a roll of 1 will just remove.
Yeah, because you could just shoot the building with the giant knights and just collapse it on the people that are inside. It makes so much more sense.
Yeah, that's because
That would have been a strat. That would have been a legitimate strategy in 7th.
yeah, because we can just do that. I mean, like I don't
If
know
we're gonna
why we
play it
haven't
here,
been just like
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean 8th edition's fine and all, but when you add like okay, things stay on the board when they die instead of disappearing, and these runes have these special rules because of this MacGuffin reason. Okay,
I had no experience with any edition before 8th, so I didn't have anything to compare it to, but those two alone just seemed like such good ideas.
yeah,
It just makes it so much more fluffy.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm never a fan of taking away mechanics for the sake of simplicity.
yeah, and they took
And-
away a lot of mechanics this edition. If you're not familiar with it,
It's a very common thing. Like, to take it in a totally different direction and off topic for a second, let's talk about fighting games for here. So you have, like, Blaze Blue, Continuum Shift, whatever one you want to pick. I'm picking that one. If you press light, your guy is going to do light. He's only ever going to do a light when you push the light button. But you get into Cross Tag Battle, or DBZ Fighters, or Guilty Gear even, and you press light, he goes into an auto combo. I don't want to do an auto combo.
I want to
don't
do
want my
four
other
lights.
people to have auto combos. I want to have that complexity of I have to know how to do this. I don't want to have the free mash button to get you to do that. But they're doing that with a lot of fighting games because it makes it easier for people to get in. And it's the way BlazBlue handled it specifically with that one is you had normal and stylish mode. Turn on stylish mode, now you got auto combos. You turn off stylish mode, and you're good. And people will argue, yeah, whatever, you do the auto combo, it's not safe on block, and stuff like that, where you're not plus, where somebody, if they block it, they can just counter and get you. So there is still tech there, but you can make a fighting game with one button. They've already proven that with like dive kick and stuff like that.
Did I ever tell you, this is really off topic, but I think I was listening to RIP, Super Best Friends podcast, and there was this 100-button fighter that every time you played it, all the buttons did something different.
Whoa. You had to play it on a keyboard, I imagine?
I think it was just his own, like, rig. It was his own, like, goofy thing at some convention. Like, one of those things that they take to conventions. Like, I don't think you could go out and buy the setup.
No, not 100 buttons. I don't know how you would ever figure anything out, like, unless you just, like, start tapping from the top
That's
left
basically
and work
what
your
the
way down.
matches were.
That's too much. That's somebody took the...
I think that's a
somebody
bit-
went the opposite extreme of what I was saying and made it that. So...
But yeah, that's
I
a
get
really good analogy for 7th to 8th edition.
That's how I feel. And, like, while those are still perfectly serviceable and still perfectly competitive, like, it really doesn't lose anything at a point. You can still do what you want to do and look cool doing it. I just feel like...
From a business perspective, though, from what I heard about 7th, with how horribly complex it was and how scattered all the information was in order to play it was impossible for people to join. Like, whenever I first got interested in it and started to read up stuff about 7th, that actually drove me away from 7th. Like, they're just not getting people to play it just because of the complexity. It might be nice for the people that are already in it to have such a deep game, but they're not going to get new customers, they're not going to get new people to play the games, the stores aren't going to have new faces. It just is going to stagnate.
Yeah. That, I get it. Because you have to understand, you gotta be able to sell your game in order for people to play your game.
Yeah,
And that's why they did the whole marketing with 8th edition, like, here, buy your first Space Marines. Here, we'll give you a paint kit and everything. These are easy build. You put them together, 1-2 dudes. Just pegs, no glue. Everything's already primed in a color. For you, for your convenience. They're trying to get people hooked in. And, yeah, I don't think you'll ever have them go back to something so complicated because it was too much.
I wish I would have brought out, like, an edition, like maybe an in-between edition that has more of the complexities of 7th, like vehicle facings, like a more realistic, well, as realistic as futuristic space soldiers fighting futuristic space bugs can be, but like a system where it's like, because 8th does do a lot of good streamlining, but also I miss vehicle facings, mounting and dismounting buildings. I miss having weapons destroyed on vehicles.
Yep.
Like, the degrading profile is great, but it would have been better if it was like every time it degrades, you roll, oh no, you lost your main gun.
Yep.
Like,
good
that was-
luck now. He's like, now you've got a dude who, or like your Land Raider has no guns, so guess what? You're tank shocking with that thing and hoping it blows up.
Tank shocking was fun.
Yep.
Oh, what was it? Relentless advance. Whenever you, sweeping advance. Whenever you,
Yeah, sweeping
I don't
advance.
know why they took
really
sweeping advance
cut
out.
down on combat.
so whenever you're in combat with somebody and they fail a morale,
Specifically melee.
they're gone.
Oh.
They break, and your forces are just assumed to have cut them down
Oh, cool.
as they tried to run away. Their morale was dead. It either couldn't happen if you had a character, which, speaking of characters, challenges. Issuing a challenge to the other enemy
That was
character
so
in the
good.
squad and being like, we duel for this fight. And that, like, gave a huge bonus to sweeping advance. If you took out the other character,
That's cool.
the odds are that the other dudes just stood back and let these fools duel it out.
Huh. Oh, that.
It was so cinematic and so cool.
Right. See, there's
Not a
things
competitive
there.
thing at all, because, you get your certain good punchy characters.
Yeah, well, that's with people running the character who's unkillable.
Yeah.
They'd
Characters
run one of
attached
those.
to units, too. They weren't, like, out in the open.
Yeah, it was a completely different game. It 100% was more complicated, but I feel like people who look for complexity in games, like looking to play that Leaving Earth game, because that's a super complex game or something like that, would appreciate it, to a point.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't even know if I can make any further points on this without repeating myself.
I don't know,
But,
the whole comparing it to fighting games, though, really puts it in a good perspective.
Yeah.
But we did play some Warhammer. We could always incorporate more 7th edition stuff into our Porch Hammer games, because who gives a fuck? We're not like, playing in a tournament.
Exactly. That'd be a fun.
Tournaments really burnt me out on 8th edition, though, because I was thinking that this would be the edition I'd start, like, going to tournaments and seeing how I feel about competitive play. Me not being a competitive person doing this probably should have been a sign that this wasn't going to work out, but...
Yeah. I do like the narrative play way more than the competitive aspect.
Instead of... I like taking a dumb list that, is dumb, but is dumb for a reason, rather than taking a dick-smashing list just to win.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't want to take my big knight and take these 30 Imperial Guardsmen because that gives me some sort of synergy. Why are they fighting together? What's the narrative there? Who are these dudes and why are they with these knights?
With the Tyranids, like, a way more competitive list would be to take a horde of like 200 tiny bugs. But I don't want to bend over a table for for 3 hours moving 200 tiny models 9 inches every time it's my turn. I just don't want to do that. I took like 16 big monster kaiju bugs, and that's how I want to play my game.
And they blew up my 4 big punchy robots.
Yeah.
It was good. It was thematic.
It's a good fight.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
You guys and me, Sans Ritter, played Raccoon Tycoon.
Tycoon.
How'd you guys feel about Raccoon Tycoon?
Suddenly,
I liked it.
from nowhere.
Out of nowhere!
Hello, it's me.
From the ether.
I'm back. I watched that video. That guy got hurt trying to wax the inside of his nose.
What?
What?
I'm back. I'm back,
Podcast of what? Wait.
though. Don't worry.
The what cast?
Don't worry about it. Hey, we played Raccoon Tycoon. It was a lot of fun. The artwork was really fantastic.
Yeah.
It was like old Victorian style artwork, but it was animals in like the fancy clothes. There was one of a really fat cat dressed in like a really fancy suit, kind of like a Xerophale from Good Omens. It was really good, and I want to get a custom portrait of my fat cat in that outfit as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the time I have today. I'm
So-
sorry, I have to go.
So what Raccoon Tycoon is, it's a really quick one action per turn game. It's a Euro game, you're trying to get the most points at the end of the game. But it's got a fluctuating economy, it's got a couple ways to make points, but its biggest thing is, it's an economy game, yes, but money is completely worthless. It does not give you points at the end of the game, unless you have certain buildings that break the rules and lets it be points at the end of the game. It's good.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just the one game that I played of it, but that what you just said there, that buildings let you break the rules of the game, is how I experienced it.
It is, those are
That's-
rule breaks.
Right. It's such a different game with a certain building in play. And I say this because I had a building that was an auction house. And normally on your turn, you got your like 1 or 2 actions. It potentially, if you lose an auction, you can do another action. Whereas you'll play a card and it'll drive up the prices of some things, let you pick up certain other things. You can sell things instead of doing that. You could buy a building, or you could start an auction. Well, I had a building that every time an auction happened, regardless of if I won or lost, I got $5 off it. So, I put up a thing for its base value and say, here you go. Somebody take it. And they will either let me have it for the base price, which was usually less than $5, or it would start people fighting, and they would lose money, and no matter what, I was going to get $5. And if I didn't win the auction, I just put up another one and keep getting $5 every time.
So I had that building this game.
Yeah.
I didn't do that strategy at all.
Why?
Because
That seemed like a great thing.
Well, you're giving points out to your opponents because the railroads work on there's a set, raccoons, dogs, cats, etc. But the more railroads of a certain kind you get, the more points that railroad's worth at the end of the game.
Right.
So doing that, you're just giving people free points for $5.
I can also see the fact that whenever I was playing it, I got the idea that I didn't want to put something up for auction on my turn, because that was a turn of mine wasted not generating resources. I was waiting for other people to put up the things for auction and waste their turn and not getting any resources on their turn just to put up the thing for auction, and then I could just bid on it on their turn.
Yep.
Well, if you lose the auction, you still get to play your card. You
What do
don't
you mean?
lose any resources.
What do you mean?
If you
Well-
say you put up a thing for $2
Yeah.
and somebody else buys it, you still get to play your card.
No, you don't. Your turn's over.
That's your only action for that turn.
Well, I
Putting
mean,
up
if you
something
lose
for
the auction, you get to play another turn.
oh,
No,
we
didn't
were
play that
playing
way.
it
Get
like
another
that.
action.
We didn't
You
do
told
that.
us that was it.
Oh, my bad.
No,
That's why I didn't put up anything for auction.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Well, Dan told us the
that's
turn
why
was
it's
over.
such a good thing to go like, I put this up for auction. This one, 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 this one. Because you can do that ad infinitum until
Really?
until you eventually win an auction, and by that time everybody's burned themselves out fighting.
I feel like
and then
that
you can
is
throw a thing.
We have been lied to.
No, I know. I
You
I
can
told you
even
guys
sell
that you
stuff
could keep
after
going if
that
you didn't
happens.
sell. else.
said it
I
was
feel like
all
there's an
over.
FAQ against the
know.
infinite
You
auction
are
thing.
Well, it's
definitely
not
right.
infinite because eventually you will win an auction.
Well, once everybody
Or
runs out of money,
you'll-
but that's essentially infinite.
But you'll also
to
end the
that
game
point-
without scoring points, though, because money is worthless other than the couple railroads that you might have picked up. But as soon as somebody starts doing that, they'll realize, okay, well,
the
here's
stuff
some garbage
that's worth
railroads
more
for
than
you.
5 as well, you're not going to make anything off of. Like the big stuff that's worth, like the dogs and raccoons and something else is what I went for. I eventually had all the raccoons doing this strategy. I only went for big names and I would lose a few auctions and then sell some stuff and get some money for if somebody else decided to put up an auction. But you also got to watch because they putting it up. They don't want to do it anymore because now they're just giving you $5 for no reason.
Yeah.
So it's a really neat way of doing it. But yeah, you don't lose your action. You
Yeah, we'll have
absolutely
to,
get to
have
buy
to play
stuff.
that next
Yeah.
time. I do want to play the game again, though. It seems real fun.
It does.
There's games like the only other game I played that had a flooding resource market like that one does was Power Grid.
Yeah, fluctuating resource supply and demand kind of balancing in a game is always enjoyable.
Yeah. Plus the buildings giving you all those cool powers.
Yeah.
Homebound Jesus was playing with us, and he went heavy building route. Like
He had like 15 to 20
he had more than
buildings.
15 buildings. He had a lot of
Yeah.
buildings.
We actually
He had
went
at
through
least
all the
20.
buildings in our
Yeah.
game.
And he
That's
had
possible.
like 90% of them.
Because if you don't do auctions, you will prolong this game. That was my other strat. Was I want to get this game through as fast as possible and get the high point stuff and get out.
Nah,
So-
it was insane. He had like so many bonuses and
Well, yeah,
stuff
'cause
he
the
was
decks
doing
are-
from all those
yeah.
cards.
You're always just going to get more. The game doesn't end when the deck is out, so you have to auction eventually. Or is it by towns? I don't know if it ends when you buy towns.
It ends whenever either towns or railroads are out. You
Right.
can't refresh.
So you could go with a highly production-based group and just buy towns.
Yeah,
But
that's
still-
how we ended the game, actually. We ran out of towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended it with auctions.
I don't know. Towns just seem like a better bang for your cash than railroads.
You got to get matching sets. You got to play the game.
Yeah, Dan I think was like only 2 points behind who won
Yeah.
too. And he was doing like the heavy town thing.
I was 1 point, and if I had 2 more wood, I would have won.
Yeah,
I had a lot of
thought
fun
it
with
was
it.
neat. I didn't think it was a must-buy for me, as I said.
It's
but
just it's a quick pull it out. If we have like a 45
That's what
to
she
an hour
said.
free, it's not hard at all to teach. It's
you
a
know
good,
what I liked more was modern art.
Did you like
I-
Modern more?
Modern Art, I love that
I
one.
felt like modern art was more fun.
I'm surprised.
I'm actually really surprised. I don't know if you'd like the auction thing or not.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting take on it. I felt like it did auctions better because you had so many variant auctions.
Yeah.
Could just combine and have variant auctions on the railroads and art. Just combine all the games together.
Yeah, we're selling this piece of art with this lovely cat.
$2. Do I hear $2?
Hidden price. Name your price.
That would be the thing, is you put up an auction for a certain railroad, but you use a rule from a modern art card.
That would be
like,
fun.
Like the raccoons are all hidden, and like the cats are.
You just have a pile of like the modern art cards, and whatever you flip off the top is what kind of auction you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a neat way to play.
That would be fun.
So yeah, I think that
wild.
would be the one go around
The
thing
one go around would be tough.
would be a trick. Yeah, because then you know somebody's going to try and raise that price. So
Yeah.
that if it's a set that you need, they're going to be like, yeah, $100 for it. Pay it. Do it.
Good. Did you sell a whole bunch of resources last turn? Nope. Okay. I never have more than like $20 in that game.
Oof.
In
Raccoon
what?
Tycoon?
That's
Raccoon Tycoon.
You want to have a bit of an economy, and I think that was
So like
whatever.
when we were
You'd have
playing over the
people
Nixons.
inflating with tons of money.
Well, what I was doing was just generating resources, trading in whatever I need, get a town, resources town.
Yeah, and that was legit.
Maybe generate a little bit of money for a couple buildings that help out my secret objective or whatever.
Yeah,
Like I had the coal mine, I think, at a point.
yeah.
Because I had the coal baron victory card. It was like a point for every.
See, I thought they were real generic missions when I first got. There were a few things that I didn't realize that are useful to know going in. Is that the towns are in a certain order,
Yeah, it's 2s and then 3s and 4s and 5s.
the buildings are in a certain order. At least certain starting buildings.
The
will always be
starting
out.
ones will always be like get one more resource whenever you take a production action.
I feel like you can make much more educated decisions in the game knowing the few base, like, how it's going to set up rules. The other one being the missions. I got two cards, and one was have most railroads, and the other was have most buildings. And I instantly thought that was the red cards and the green cards.
Oh, yeah.
I messed up. I would have had, I think, 2 more points than you did if I'd have bought buildings, but then I'd been spending money on buildings and not auctions, so, who knows.
I mean, you generate so much money with that anyways. Just people will naturally put up auctions and just collect the $5, don't even participate.
Yeah, I
And
feel
your turn
like...
to, buy buildings.
Yeah.
It's a really easy game to
tactic.
teach. I feel like I'd want to get it and play with my folks because I feel like I could actually teach it to them.
Next time you're going down to your
they
folks,
like
just
it.
let me know. It was a dirt cheap game too. It was like $35. That's what really sold it to me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
Surprising with the good art.
And like the paper money that's laminated.
Yeah.
And all the components are great.
It's really nice.
The big giant raccoon meeple that's like the size of a
so
small
it is.
cat.
For no reason.
For no reason. It's
It's just like
no
modern art
purpose.
has a gavel for no reason.
the gavel
Yeah,
serves a
gavel's
purpose
nice.
in modern art though. You can slam it against
You
things.
can.
Yeah.
I like the gavel.
What else did we play together? We played Clank in Space after our last recording.
Yeah.
It
I liked it, but we had no energy.
We did not.
did not.
We were destroyed by the breakfast
Dead.
Yep.
and entertaining you fine folks at home or at work or in the car or wherever you be.
I don't know. Maybe on the toilet. I don't know.
Don't listen to us. Well, I can't. I don't want to tell you what to do with your
Please
life.
listen to us.
I was going to say don't listen to us on the can, but you do you. Hey,
Do whatever you
you
want.
do you.
People got busy lives. Might be the only time they have to listen to us.
So Clank is one of those games that's really hard to look around the table and have an idea how everybody's doing.
Impossible even, because everything's
Yes.
hidden in a deck.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you can like kind of pay attention if somebody's like, and we play Clank in Space, so there were jewels in the regular Clank, but in Clank in Space, they're prisoners, where you buy these cards, you have to play them whenever they come up, and they have a negative effect, but they're worth a lot of points at the end of the game.
Yeah. And it's hard to tell how many secret tomes someone has, too. I thought Kyle only had like 2, but then he ended up having like 5 or something, and that really threw me off.
Yeah.
Hard to keep track of. But
I haven't really understood how to make an engine in that yet, but I've only played the twice. Or I played Clank once and then Space once.
in regular Clank, it is all about not getting Clank.
That's all I care about. That's what I always go for, is getting those negative Clank takers as soon as possible.
And you always win. And I tried that
do.
strategy with playing these 3 games throughout the week, and the both games I did that, I won. And the one game that I took a bunch of Clank and took a lot of risks and stuff, I was very close to beating everybody else. But,
Died.
there is that chance that you won't get all the way out and get those extra points. So
Exactly.
you are taking a risk with that. But
Space seemed like it had such a way to mitigate it.
Space does.
It seemed like there were way more heals.
There are
Yeah.
so many more heals.
Never in danger of dying.
Exactly.
Not even
there
once. And I
was.
did not take, I didn't take any risks either, but still, like,
To be fair, though, we had the health clinic side, and if you flip it to the other side, it's like it doesn't have any heals on it at all.
it's like a beginner or not board.
The
We
cards
kind of
themselves
chose-
also have more heals.
They're all
than
like
they do.
modular, all the pieces, except for
true.
that starting area with the escape pods. Like the 3 other parts of the ship,
Which
are
is-
two-sided.
A thing I enjoy a lot about Clank in Space over the regular Clank, that it has the 4 modular pieces that you can assemble in different ways to make the game change up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really enjoy that.
that was Clank in Space.
Very enjoyable game. Adds a lot of different stuff than the original Clank, but it's still the same fundamental game. So it's really enjoyable to play, especially if you like Clank. There's no way you're not going to like Clank in Space. There's some new stuff to learn, but overall, it's just, it's a really good game. It's a great deck builder. It's my favorite deck builder out there. I like it more than, what's that one? Is Dominion the deck builder you guys always talk
I
about?
like Dominion.
I hated it. I'm gonna be real. Hated it. Hated
Homebound Jesus
Dominion.
is a real big fan of Dominion.
Oh, I hated it. I played it, and I was like, the
gotta
whole
get the
time, I
moats.
was just like, this game's dumb.
You
I
get
never
both.
played Dominion.
Yeah, you
Didn't like
have.
it.
I have
Haven't you?
never. I've never played.
Online?
No.
I have a copy of it. Randy's not gonna play with us. But
I will watch.
it's just
yeah.
it is the first deck builder that came out. It's
Yeah.
just generic deck
Yeah,
builder.
I praise it for being the game that started a genre that I really enjoy, but the game itself I did not like. There's a reason that it was the starter and not the finisher, because it had a lot of stuff that needed to be improved in it.
I get kind of a Talisman vibe from it. I don't know if that'll make any sense.
It makes some sense, yeah.
Talisman, it's impossible to do well at if it's just not going well for you. It's just not going to go well. You will miss 6 turns in a row for no fault of your own. It just will happen. And I feel like Dominion, depending on the setup you can get, because there's like random setups for what cards will be available for buy. You can get a bad setup, but you can also not. There's a way to play it online that I've done before that works pretty well. Have played it with the Richard Nixons.
Nice.
Oh, Richard Nixons.
Yeah. As you do.
Yeah,
And
as you do.
But I think it was all we played together, wasn't
Real
it?
quick, I feel like we've never addressed this. I just want to make one footnote. We call him Richard Nixon for another reason. We do not condone or enjoy the actions of the actual Richard Nixon. We feel like that. I feel like
He's my
still
favorite.
alive?
He's not.
no, but I feel like it's super important that we just kind of
How are we playing board games
No,
with a dead president?
It's not that. I don't want people to think we call him Richard Nixon as a term of endearment because we like Richard Nixon.
I don't think anybody thinks that.
Okay, I just want to make a quick
No,
footnote.
I
fuck
actually
that guy.
like Richard Nixon. I like clearly
Don't
winning
make me beat you up, you
elections,
nerd.
but then having my guys make sure my election is won even more hard. And I like Vietnam.
Don't make me beat you up. Don't make me destroy you.
I do enjoy
I'm
my
gonna
water
take you out
gates.
onto the
I think
porch and
after a
beat you up.
certain point, when you say a president's name, it's just like, oh, it's a president. You don't really, at least I don't associate anything the president did. Because before, like, 2008, all presidents were garbage.
I want you to know that the gay community is still real sore over
Well,
Richard Nixon.
He
So
did
I
bad.
just wanted
Lyndon
to.
Johnson also did bad.
I just wanted to throw out that footnote.
They had the power to, stop the whole AIDS crisis, and
They
they
did.
didn't.
Instead, they exacerbated it.
I think, okay, whenever we talk about presidents, they're garbage. They're
yeah,
just garbage.
it holds a
I mean,
negative
there were
connotation
presidents
to
who
it
owned
always.
slaves, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, most
of
them.
Far enough.
Most of them did. They're all pretty bad.
Yeah,
but I
we-
did just
it's
want to throw that
established.
out that the guy we're talking about is in no way anything like Richard Nixon. We do not call him that because he is similar to Richard Nixon in any way. We do not condone Richard Nixon.
He's exactly like Richard Nixon, though. He
he's
looks
not.
so much like Richard
He
Nixon.
doesn't
He's got
sound
the
like
jowls
Richard
like Nixon.
Nixon.
In
It's
fact,
fine.
I think
He likes basketball
you
and
ever-
rap music just like Richard Nixon did.
he goes, Agnew! Because he's off.
And wrestling. He likes
But,
basketball, rap, and wrestling. Yeah.
And-
Those are his three big favorites.
Of course.
I kind of want to have him on the cast sometime.
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'd be a barrel of laughs.
He'll be, it's just me, but smarter and more well spoken.
Very
Smarter
big
than all
board
of us,
gamer. Very big
unfortunately. No
board
offense,
gamer.
Kyle.
I'd fight him.
Kyle has a physics degree.
That means nothing.
What?
Hey, Kyle, do
It
some
dep-
orbits. How do orbits happen?
Newton. Wait, no, Kepler. Oh God.
No, I just
Well,
wanted to throw that out there. I thought about it, as you said, Richard Nixon, because I was thinking about all the other nicknames we have, and they actually say something about the person. And the nickname for Richard Nixon does not. It's just a joke or whatever. So I thought I'd just make a little footnote real quick.
You could always
Okay.
call him Die Man. He went by that for a while.
He did go by Die Man. but
Die Man?
We can't say Die Man Dad. We could say Knops for
Yeah.
Richard Nixon the second.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ah.
there you go.
You don't have to change the nickname. It's fine. I've
No,
already made the disclaimer.
it's already too late.
Richard
But I
Nixon
made
the
Sr.
disclaimer.
also
The problem.
went by Dirkley.
Yeah, that's right.
Dirkley.
I did
thought-
this disclaimer for
I
nothing.
thought Brimley's, but no, that's the other one.
That's,
the
uh,
man with the magnetic hands.
The magnetic hands.
Yeah, Brimmel's.
Brummels.
I don't know how to pronounce that still, or how he
Brimley's.
got that name. It is
Brimley.
Brimley's?
Goodness. Yeah,
Okay. That's right. You
Is
know.
that a thing?
You know the lore,
I know.
probably.
I know a thing.
Kyle knows a little.
He knows a
I know,
thing or
I know a
two.
thing or two of magnet hands.
Magnet Man.
Magnet hands. The terrible.
Right.
Terrible.
Oh, what'd he do?
That's just his title.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
I mean, you don't have to be bad to get that title. It just
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
magnet hands. The terrific. How about that?
Oh.
The fantastic, the man of many talents. Very
Yes.
many.
Oh.
Parlor tricks, he's got him down.
He's got them. If you need a bar trick, there you go. If you need a religious major, there you go.
Yeah,
Magnet hands. The dexterous.
indeed.
Indeed.
Dexterity high on that one.
I don't know if we gave him a character sheet in college because like all of our buddies in college, we had like character sheets of each person with all
Yeah.
of their like character traits and
Nerd.
stuff. And as we did things, we would like upgrade the scores and decrease the scores. Like I set something on fire accidentally in our dorm, and my wisdom went down a little bit. So yeah,
That doesn't surprise me, though.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
I mean, fire, you can't predict it. It just
No.
comes out of nowhere. It's like, I'm here, I'm a fire.
Yeah,
Right.
but
What
wisdom
are you,
dictates that you
Spencer, for
don't.
my Carly?
What?
Excuse me?
That's a joke
Whoosh.
someone out there might get.
Not us though. Not us.
That was the sound of me winking at you, viewer.
But seriously, Scrappy Doo. Fuck him.
That's
It
all
all
you're trying to
comes
say.
full circle.
All comes back to
all
how
I'm really
bad
trying to
Scrappy.
say here is, I
Even a Segway
hate
couldn't.
Scrappy Doo.
Even a Segway couldn't redeem Scrappy Doo.
No, he's pretty
Segway!
Oh no. That
I'm
was
not
a,
actually
that was a
segueing anything, I just wanted to-
attempt. Sad attempt to get the segue bit in.
You know what?
What?
Anybody got anything else?
Me? No.
You?
No.
Nope.
No?
Not I, good sir.
I think that was a podcast.
Oh,
Are
man.
you sure
Think
it's
it
a
was?
podcast?
We checked
Is
off
there
all the
anybody-
boxes.
We did check off the
Go watch
boxes.
Golden Girls. It's free on Hulu.
Watch Golden Girls.
Except you have to pay for Hulu, so it's not really free.
Watch our boys on the Fixers Inc. podcast.
Watch
they fix
them
things.
specifically.
Watch
Watch
them.
them.
their
with
Watch,
your
watch their
ears.
audio waveforms.
Watch Fixers Inc. Fixers, Inc. I guess you could also probably put Fixers Incorporated if you're a fucking nerd and you'd get it, maybe. But
Whoa.
they're on
They're on places where
iTunes and other
you
places.
if you know where we're at. You know
Yeah,
where they're at.
You know where we're at.
I think.
You'll find us
I
with
think.
them.
I think we could fight them though. I think we could beat them up.
You think you could beat them up?
I don't think I could beat them up. I think combined our podcast could beat up their
I have
podcast.
scoliosis.
We need to.
Yeah,
see if the
but we got
waveforms
two
can fight
bruisers
their
over there.
waveforms.
Yeah. It's just going to be Kyle and Ritter fighting while we sit in
Yeah.
the back going, good
That's-
job.
Fisticuffs!
I'm the
I see
bard.
what you're doing over here. See what you see what I'll show you what I got for there. What that?
Kyle will soon crack.
I'm not
his-
your buddy, pal.
I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your pal, buddy.
You know
Say, I'll
who
tell
else
you
we
what
haven't
I'm
shout
doing.
out in a
I'm
while?
not your guy, pal.
The Ducktective. The guy who made our
yeah.
Musax.
Ducktective.
Oh, right.
He's
That's
out there.
important.
It is it's a Reddit username. I feel like we never actually verbally shouted him out. We just put it in the description. But that cool little intro and outro you hear is by u/Ducktective.
Because
Spelled how it sounds. It's a detective, but with duck. And he made this so graciously, our music, and it is very lovely, very sweet, very chimey. I very much enjoy it. He worked hard on it, did a really good job.
He is a good boy.
He actually takes commissions too, so if you're looking for some kind of music or cool bop for anything, hit him up on Reddit. He's out there.
He's out there.
So, is there a difference between when a track bops or slaps or rips? Are those all the same thing?
I think it's all kind of like just depends on like the time of when that was a cool. Right now, calling stuff a bop is a cool thing to say. This shit slaps was probably more a couple years ago cool, but right now it's like, oh man, this shit is a bop. This is a bop right here.
Because it is always described as like hitting something. You
Yeah.
know, it's like rip or slap.
Because it hits you
Bop.
with how cool it is.
Have you heard heat rocks? The term heat rocks?
No, what?
Maybe
Igneous rocks?
though in terms of that's a fire track, that's a real heat rock.
No.
What the
Nope.
hell?
Okay.
What are
Oh,
you
that sounds
saying?
Me neither.
This is all
I've never
bad.
heard that either.
Dang it.
Dang it, I almost got you guys with my new bit to gaslight you with. Ha ha ha.
And this is a heat rock.
Is that,
What?
Is that
I heard it used somewhere.
My God.
Probably a commercial for a show or something.
I don't believe
Rainy, quick, what's an igneous rock?
it's spicy.
No. You like rocks and you can't
Spicy
tell
rock.
me a specific igneous rock?
It's spicy rock.
I mean, is lava the spiciest of rocks though?
Yeah.
I thought you would know. I
She
don't
only
know.
likes the shiny rocks, man. She didn't like pumice.
Okay, yeah, his pumice is one. There
I
you
have
go.
a piece of pumice actually.
Yeah,
Spicy rock.
right.
Lick that
Hot
rock,
rock.
spicy.
Man, that tracks pumice is all get out, man.
That track is going to remove so many dead skin cells from my feet.
It's
Pumice
igneous,
is
so it's
too
fire.
weird of a name.
Right.
It
I
is.
don't like it. It makes me
We're
think of
really
pubic.
bad at shout outs and ending podcasts.
We are. We're sorry about that.
All right. I wanted to shout out another podcast, the Buddy Talk podcast. They're kind of local to us, kind of in the Pittsburgh area. They do a similar podcast to what we do, but they're
Similar?
all under 25, and it makes you feel old when you listen to them.
I'm under 25.
Ooh. It makes me old whenever you talk.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
I'm
More
stop it.
words
I'm only
spoken.
23.
Master Dan ages.
Oh, he's aging before our eyes.
Man, Dan's
Oh,
health
no.
bar went down a lot during this podcast.
Hello, this is Dan from Tabletop.
We're gonna have to keep a recording of this so that when you do eventually become Deckard Cain, you can be like, "Her."
I'm Deckard Kane. Stay a while and listen.
I can't believe you called people under 25 babies.
All right, you'll understand.
23. I hang out with you every day.
You'll understand.
It's only
We're in a
5
group
years.
chat.
It's enough.
It's enough.
6 here soon.
5 years
Wait,
is enough.
no,
for this old
it's 7 years.
8 years or soon.
But it's
Yeah,
5
I'm
for
23. Oh, okay. I was like, I'm 23. What?
Whatever.
23 on the verge of spontaneous combustion. Woe is me. I tried to make
I like
that
the transition.
I tried to transition smoother to Deckard Cain.
I
All
saw
right,
it.
so
I was aging up.
I'm gonna do our basic plugs now.
You do our basic plugs, you basic plug machine.
Oh, well,
Oh God, that was not good. That was a
Fine.
bad. I should-
Ooh.
all right. Well,
Not to shoot someone?
oh.
Wait, I've never heard plug as shoot. I'll plug you up.
Remember that super old Looney Tunes cartoon?
What's happening?
We're going back to this. It was where Bugs Bunny is fighting these 2 crows.
It's like, wait.
The crows are
Trying to
Pappy
close the
and
podcast.
Elvis.
I didn't think
And
this would
Elvis
happen.
is the dopey crow, and Pappy is, of course, Elvis's Pappy.
How could
So Pappy sends out Elvis to go get Bugs Bunny, and he's like, Elvis, go get your Pappy a
caught
rabbit.
up
He's like,
basic
okay,
plug,
Pappy, I'm gonna go get a
right
rabbit.
to
And he goes down and he
my
shoots, he
face.
plugs the rifle in the hole, and Bugs like, yeah, what's up, Doc? Hang on a second. You gotta give me at least 20 seconds before you shoot that guy. He's like, oh, okay. 1, 2, and he counts real slow. And meanwhile, Bugs Bunny runs a pipe all the way up back to where his Pappy's sitting in the chair with his paper. And finally, he's like 4, and Bugs goes 20. He's like, 20? He's like, Pappy, I got him. I got the rabbit. He's like, Elvis, you ain't plugging the rabbit. You done plugged your Pappy.
Well, that was the audio transcript of Ritter's favorite episode of Bugs Bunny. Anyway,
This is a new edition at the end of every podcast from now on. We will have a Looney Tunes transcript from Ritter.
I only know that one and like the one with Yosemite.
Don't
Sam.
tell.
Well, you
no.
save
better-
it. You're gonna have to save it.
you
You're gonna
better
have to
start
save it for
studying
the
up,
next
man.
episode. Oh man. So this has been Tablestop, the podcast with 4 best friends. You can find us at tablestopcast@gmail.com. We also have a Tumblr at Tablestop, a Twitter at Tablestop, and we'd love for you to follow our Facebook, which is also Tablestop, and that's where we'll post like information about streams. And we posted when we were having that delay, whenever we had busy schedules that held us up.
One day
Stuff
we'll
like
start
that.
streaming. One day we won't work in
Yeah.
overtime forever.
All that important information will be posted on our Facebook. We also are on YouTube now, though it is an episode behind our Anchor and all our other stuff. You
Yeah,
can
it
find
is, because you should be listening to this on the podcast players. What are you doing? You got a phone. You have a
Yeah.
phone? Just download a podcast player. We're probably there.
we like to see the little
I'll
views.
fight you.
Oh, you don't have to fight them.
Oh.
But we also have a subreddit you can follow. Right now it's still only Dan and I, even though Ritter and Kyle have Reddits.
Do we?
And Kyle is an admin of the Reddit, but he doesn't follow the Reddit.
I don't follow any
It's
Reddits.
at Tablestop as
You just
well.
strip r/all?
What?
You just strip to the r/. Oh, you're saying you don't have Reddit.
I don't subscribe to any of them.
So you're
Any?
just surfing
At all?
r/all?
No, I go
Oh.
to specific ones, but I don't have a subscription to them.
Oh my
like I didn't
God.
click the little subscribe button.
What? What an animal. That just befuddled me. Anyway, geez, I
Segways.
think that's a bit, pretty much all of it. Please, we still haven't really received any emails, so we haven't given out that puppy.
Hey, there's
yet.
like
That's
a
fine.
whole 7 of you out there. At least one of you has an email account. I know at least one of you
What do you
does.
want
At
them to
least,
say?
hey,
I want them to be
well,
like, "Yo, I'm validating your existence."
I want them to talk
I'm
about
just-
that Scooby Doo movie with Shaggy and Scooby at the all girls monster camp. Please email me about it. Tell me which one of the monster girls was your favorite, because for me it was the little Frankenstein girl.
was
She
that the
was
one
so
with
sweet.
the band, the chick rock band?
No, that was an actual episode of Scooby Doo.
Oh.
Or one of the movies. Either way, it wasn't that one. That had all of the Scooby Doo gang in it. This just has Shaggy in a red shirt. And Scooby, and maybe Scrappy? I
Fuck
actually
Scrappy.
don't remember.
Fuck Scrappy.
My brain tries to edit Scrappy out of anything he's in, except for that one movie he was the villain in, so I don't entirely remember if Scrappy was there. Please email me your favorite girl. They're
your
beautiful
face.
girls.
Just scan your face in on a scanner.
Yeah, email
We'll take
me.
faces.
You ask
Email
what
me
you want.
your
That ain't
face, and I'm gonna Photoshop it onto my favorite
Ritter
girl.
wants jean advice, I guess, or
I
sock
do
advice.
not want any such
Give Ritter
advice.
some advice on how girls like good jeans, not
Oh,
genetics,
dear,
but
dear.
good pants. Tell them. Anything you want emailed to you, Kyle?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Email
Okay.
Kyle pictures of dogs smoking cigars.
Actually,
you.
Email
Damn it.
Kyle a picture of corgis because that's his dream dog, or you can email him pictures of cats, which I will also enjoy. And
Send me fan art of Godzilla.
fan art
Yeah.
of Godzilla because that's all he really cares about, and that's it.
Okay, bye.